a little bit of a blur, or Saturday is.
Right, I was off Thursday and Friday. I'm still on vacation.
Yeah, that's true. Shout out to my guy Alan from the pool. We had a great time together. But yeah,
Alan from The Hangover?
It was the most angry that I guess because LSU did not lose a football game last season. That was the most angry that I have been at sports in a long time. I can't remember previous to Saturday the last time that I threw my cell phone across the room. And I threw it not once, but twice. Just chunked it in my couch about as hard as I could. Luckily, it didn't crack. I'm an idiot. Don't do that. I was very upset,
Apple iPhone 10?
Yeah.
They're trash.
Okay. Sounds like someone who broke their phone. That's fine. But yeah, the Pelicans, it was horrible. But you know what? We had about 48 hours here. We've swallowed it. We've adjusted it. Muso's shaking his head at me. We're still alive, boys. Okay.
Oh, wow.
We're still
For real?
alive tonight.
Oh, gosh.
Tonight is the true point of no return.
3-point
Danny's
favorites.
nodding his head. He's in the
Danny.
boat. Flock up. Hop on board. Pelicans fly together. We talked about it Friday. You got to stick to the plan. Okay.
Give me your starting five in December, Danny, for next year for the opening tip-off for next year for the Pelicans. That's what they need to be looking forward to starting yesterday.
No.
It's all about 2021 for the Pels right now.
I got the Grizzlies tonight.
Dude,
This is the
I'm
end-all,
sorry, man.
be-all.
I thought for sure that you were vomiting on social media when you were spitting the beer up. That was great for just the effects, but that was the Pelicans season. In an absolute
that was the Pelicans
social
afternoon.
media.
That was the Pelicans afternoon.
Here are your
Minor
headlines on this
setback,
August 3rd. Good to be
major
back.
comeback.
Wow. I don't know.
Headlines on Off the Bench.
Here we go. The New Orleans Pelicans, the Clippers, broke a franchise record, making 25 of 47 three-pointers over the weekend. Paul George made 8 of 11 by himself. I don't know if he hit the rim all night. They hit 16 three-pointers in the first half. The Pelicans committed 20 turnovers, which give them 38 in the first 2 games back. They play the Memphis Grizzlies tonight at 5:30. Pelicans are 0-2 in the restart. Zion missed minutes on Friday and only 15 minutes in the opening game. He scored 13 points. He was 6 of 8 shooting, but did not record a rebound, a steal, or a block. David Griffin had to hold an impromptu press conference on Friday explaining what was going on with Zion. Zion spoke yesterday after practice on getting in the flow.
I'm going to say it's very tough, to be honest, because, as soon as I start to break that sweat, I look over and that horn's for me and I have to come out the game. And, also when I do catch the flow of the game, like I said, that horn goes off and it's for me.
Look, this is, in my opinion, Jordy, this is the least concerning and most understandable aspect of what's going on with the New Orleans Pelicans right now. The doctors, Trajan Langdon on the show Friday, David Griffin, everybody's laid it out. Okay, the ramp up plan is not because he's out of shape. He's not. A lot of people are like, he's 20 years old. You can't just throw him out there. You potentially could. But there's a lot of research and data that shows that you are a high risk of soft tissue injuries if you don't ramp up. And I mean, what are we doing here? Isn't that why you brought in Aaron Nelson? Was to avoid BS injuries? And so if he's going to mathematically use data to try
Feels
to
like
put
a lot of overthinking.
the best, no, not at
Feels like a
all,
lot of-
dude. Not at all. The problem with the Pelicans in the past was underthinking. That's why these guys kept getting hurt.
I tell you this,
and they
you would have
couldn't
loved to have the
return.
number 1 overall pick on the floor in a game that could have been decided by one possession on Thursday night. The fact that he wasn't on the floor because of minutes restriction, I think, deserved an impromptu emergency press conference that give us an explanation, man. I mean,
Yeah,
the
and
fact
they-
that
and
this
they-
cat's not on the floor at the end of the game with a chance to win when he's only played 15 minutes and you're telling everybody, your customer base, that you're playing for the postseason and he's on the bench, that's inexcusable to me.
Well, I don't know though. I don't know that they've been necessarily selling that this is the end all be all. I think they've been selling the customer base on a longer term vision this entire time.
They absolutely had, but getting into the bubble, they said they weren't just playing for fun. They
Well,
were going
they're
to play
not,
for the
though.
postseason.
I mean, they're not though. I mean, there is clear data that just shows you soft tissue injury risk and how you ramp up versus just being thrown in there. I mean, it's just how much risk are you willing to expose yourself to? And the Pelicans have been very clear with Zion Williamson from day one that he is a long-term investment and that they are going to be overly cautious with him.
Zion at his frustration level.
Nah, because if I get frustrated, that doesn't help the situation none. So, I try to look at it from different perspectives, as in like, while I'm out there, like, what can I do to contribute?
Grizzlies and the Pelicans today, 5:30 ESPN. New Orleans Saints, Pro Football Talk, and Peter King are reporting the Saints are trying to do something about creating a impromptu bubble themselves. Beginning on Wednesday, the New Orleans Saints has contracted with Lowe's Hotel to rent 4 floors of the fashionable borderline French Quarter hotel so that most of the team's 100 Tier 1 and Tier 2 employees can quarantine together. All but some of the team doctors, cafeteria workers, and security people will have the option to get into the bubble over there in the New Orleans area. This gives the Saints a better chance than most teams to stay clear, but not a perfect chance. Peter King writes over at Pro Football Talk. He also has a couple of quotes from Sean Payton. Drew Brees was on a conference call this weekend talking a little bit about about his decision to come back for another season.
Listen, it was definitely a decision that I took very seriously, and I gave myself some time from the end of the season, and a lot of thought, a lot of prayer, a lot of conversations with my wife, with others, with mentors. At the end of the day, I chose to come back for my team.
More from Brees. We'll hear more from Brees coming up here on Off the Bench as the conference call put out about 12 sound bites from Brees, who spoke over the weekend. In the NFL, former LSU running back Jeremy Hill announced on Twitter on Sunday that he's signing with the Las Vegas Raiders. Hill played for Cincinnati from 14 to 17 and then signed a one-year deal with the New England Patriots in 18, but suffered a season-ending knee injury in Week 1. He didn't play last season as a result of that injury, but will get his shot back in the NFL with the Las Vegas Raiders. Former LSU and current Jacksonville Jaguars defensive lineman Al Woods announced on Friday that he will be opting out for the 2020 NFL season, saying that the health of his family has always been most important. Philadelphia head coach Doug Peterson has tested positive for COVID-19. That was reported on Sunday. Running backs coach Deuce Staley will run the day-to-day operations for the Philadelphia Eagles. Antonio Brown has learned from the NFL that he has been reinstated after an 8-game suspension. That suspension will begin the day that a team signs him. Jarvis Landry up in Cleveland has been placed on the active, physically unable to perform list following his offseason hip surgery. The team made the roster move Sunday while stressing that the former LSU star remains on schedule to return this season. Landry, who has not missed a game during his 6 NFL seasons with Miami and Cleveland, said he expects to be back on the field sometime in August. LSU football news, Matt Zenitz, who is the senior SEC football writer for AL.com, was the first to report that LSU tight end Jamal Pettigrew has entered the transfer portal. Pettigrew is a former 4-star prospect from St. Aug High School in New Orleans, but has only recorded 2 catches for 17 yards in his LSU career. Pettigrew missed all of 18 with an ACL injury. LSU news over the weekend as well. They handed out their scholarships to the class of 2021. If you were paying attention on social media, a lot of those guys were reacting to receiving their scholarships from the Tigers. Those are your headlines. What's trending here on Off the Bench? We will talk to Paul Maneri coming up in the 8 o'clock hour. Verge Alsbury will stop by in hour number 1. Off the Bench, daily powered by All-Star Toyota.
Off the Bench with Jordy Culotta and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Right now, over at Donaldsonville Glass and Body, they are hiring. They're looking for service techs. In fact, if you're looking for work, it's a great spot, man. They've got paid holidays and vacations, 401k, health insurance. Learn all about it online at dgbauto.com. Get in touch with Kenny Frederick and his great team over there at Donaldsonville Glass and Body, conveniently located 415 Division Street. Stop by and see them. They're online, dgbauto.com.
dgbauto.com, donaldsonvilleglassandbody.com. Talk about them every day. My favorite one-stop car shop. I got my inspection sticker there the other day. Got a check engine light that comes on. I go in. I need an oil change. Really anything that goes wrong. Remember, if you do get in an accident, it sucks, and I'm sorry. But the insurance company cannot tell you where to go, and there's no better place to go than Donaldsonville Glass and Body. That is the best body shop in the state, hands down. They will pick up your vehicle in that brand new 2019 tow truck, fix it, and then drop it right back off of your house. How's that for convenience? DGBauto.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Join us on Monday night for Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. We're live at Ruffino's on Highland Road as we recap the weekend in sports, including Pelicans versus Clippers. Tune in from 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, news here on a Monday morning. John Rothstein, who covers college basketball for CBS, he's on Twitter at John Rothstein, tweeted 33 minutes ago, LSU's Darius Days is withdrawing from the 2020 NBA draft and will return to school next season, per his agent, Austin Walton. This is significant SEC news. John Rothstein writes, so Darius Days is the first of the LSU underclassmen who tested the NBA waters to announce that he will be back in Baton Rouge for a junior season. Expect Javonte Smart's news to pop here soon, and Trendon Watford, which everybody's paying attention to. I expect Watford to come back. I heard from a trusted source inside the Watford camp that they want to be a top 44 pick. They want to be inside the top 44, and they should be able to get that information by today's the deadline. Today, August 3rd.
Is it? I had no idea how the how just everything right now would be affecting those timelines, maybe pushing things back. Because, like, how can NBA teams really look to evaluate right now and everything else? It makes sense on multiple fronts for Watford to come back.
So you should hear some news on Watford here in the next couple of hours. At some point, you'll hear the fate of Trendon Watford, whether he stays in the NBA draft or whether he comes back for another season at LSU, which is significant news for the Tigers that they're paying attention to today to see if they can't get back their stud sophomore for a second season and put him alongside that recruiting class and guys like Javonte Smart and Darius Day. So pay attention to what's happening. But Days announced per John Rothstein on Twitter that he will be returning to Baton Rouge for his third season. Tom Brady turns 43 years old today. New NFC South quarterback, Brady. As we've got some sound from Drew Brees that we let you hear inside of your headlines, and we'll play a couple of more bites from Brees coming up. But Brady turns 43 years old today, so that I'd imagine you'll be hearing a lot of those storylines throughout Sports Talk Radio here on a Monday. The weekend, I guess we start, T-Bob, with the Pelicans because of your passion that you showed on social media on it. There's a couple of things that we can get to. Rob Manfred and the Major League Baseball Players Association, Tony Clark, those guys had a conversation going into the weekend where Manfred threatened to say he was going to pull the plug on the entire season if they could not get these COVID tests in line. Manfred then told Carl Ravitch that he's not a quitter and that the baseball season will continue. So more confusion and more embarrassing news coming out of Major League Baseball. And then the Pac-12 scenario that we did not discuss inside of headlines, but that's happening where the athletes in the Pac-12 are going back at the administration.
Yeah, I think that's probably, for me, I mean, I think that's, that was my starting point for the show, but it's also like, it is odd because I don't know how real it quite is yet. When you first see the headlines, it seems potentially seismic in the ripple effects this could cause in major college football. So some Pac-12 players got together. They released a list under the hashtag #WeAreUnited, and they fired a broadside at the NCAA and at the Pac-12 as a conference. Do you want me to run down kind of what this document calls for real quick? And remember, as we go into talking about this, we mentioned this over the last few weeks, Jordy. We said at the very beginning of this that the economic driving factors behind college football and the fact that we as a society were going to kind of push these players towards this level of what we deem to be acceptable risk because there's so much money at stake. We said that was going to force you to confront some very harsh realities about the real balance of student athlete in that equation, right? Are they more athlete? Are they more student? I told y'all a few weeks ago that you're probably going to have to acknowledge that, no, look, they in these revenue sports, these are likely more like athletes first, students second. And so you're seeing that. The players are seeing that, and now they want to try to kind of press that and take advantage of that. So they released a document, We Are United. It calls for mandatory safety measures and standards, including COVID stuff, allowing players to opt out of the season without losing eligibility or scholarships, ban all those COVID-19 liability papers that players were signing to basically get the school out of any liability. They want to protect all sports, saying they want this is how extreme it gets. Wants administrators and coaches to voluntarily and drastically reduce their salary. They want to end performance and academic bonuses. They want to end lavish facility expenditures and use some endowment funds to preserve all sports. We actually covered that as well, the Stanford endowment, and how if Stanford had really wanted to, yes, a lot of that endowment's earmarked, but a ton is not. And if they really wanted to, they could have kept the crew team and everything. I just don't think that they really wanted to. They want to end racial injustice in college sports society. 2% of conference revenue earmarked for low-income black students, community initiatives, developing programs for college athletes on each campus. They want economic freedom and equity. So they want medical insurance for all sports-related things, including COVID issues, to go to 6 years after eligibility ends. They want name, image, likeness. They want 6-year athletic scholarships to foster undergrad and graduate degrees. No policies on freedom of speech. They want to be able to one-time transfer. They want the ability to come back if you enter the draft and then don't get drafted. And then here's the big boy. They want to distribute 50% of each sport's total conference revenue evenly among the athletes in their respective sports. So obviously, a lot of that sounds very shocking when you read that.
Not really, though.
I mean, I don't know. I think like there's so much of it.
Not anymore. Like not the shock value has been taken out of NCAA to me. All of it, whether it's paying the players under the table, plans to pay them legally, or the power now that the athlete feels like he or she has. Because I think that right now is the best time to present something like this from an athlete's point of view.
Well, yeah, it's like we said, the pandemic is calling this all into focus. It's driving home the point that they matter so much economically to regions and to schools that athlete may be first in the equation before student.
And I think the biggest bargaining chip that the athlete has right now is the push to get the NFL, or excuse me, to get college football back on the field without having a clear plan to getting the students back on campus. Because now you have polarized the two. You have polarized the two populations. The student athlete is different than the regular student.
Yes, exactly.
Right? But you've always tried to sell me as an administrator that they're the same.
Agreed.
Well, no, they're not, because you're trying to get one back on campus when there's not a clear protocol to have health standards in place for the overall population. Why do you want them back so bad? Because you got to get the revenue in that they provide, when they step onto the field on Saturdays. And that's clear, right?
Yeah.
That's something that at this point is non-debatable. It's non-negotiable. But
Yeah,
it's
we've talked about it.
it is negotiable from the athlete's perspective now. But, T, I would say to this document, a lot of that stuff would be open for discussion. The health standards, I think everybody's on the same page with.
Yeah.
The
'Cause
racial,
especially when you look at what's going on. I know we'll talk about it with Rob Manfred, but baseball's lack of a plan is becoming readily apparent. And college football feels like they have even less of a plan than baseball does.
So there's a lot of bullet points within that presentation that I think a lot of people would just nod and sign off. Absolutely, we're in. Yes, absolutely. Check, check, check. One thing that
you want
will
me to take
not
millions of less dollars? Yeah, absolutely.
ain't gonna happen. Not happening. You're not messing with my salary, and you're sure as hell not messing with the facilities and the money that goes into the whole operation. So I think that's going to be a tough fight.
I think it's just like for anybody who does hear that, it's like, oh my God, this is crazy. It's just a negotiation thing, right? You shoot super far, and then you ask for everything, and then you try to land somewhere in the middle.
Absolutely, for sure. Like the 6-year scholarships, I think that's a great idea.
It's a hard to argue against.
Because I would say that for as much as LSU is picking up the phone and calling guys like Patrick Peterson, Tyrann Mathieu, Joe Burrow, who just signed a big contract, there are thousands of those guys that have come in and sweat, bled, cried just like those guys about the program for it, and are looking for a little relief following their days as a player. So I could get behind something in supporting that.
So what you're kind of touching on there, one of the key lines that jumped out of the document to me was this one, quote, because unjust rules prevent the 98% of college football and basketball players who won't go pro from capitalizing economically on what would otherwise be the most valuable years of their lives, including many black players from low-income homes. #WeAreUnited. Yeah, so that's and this is larger than even just this story, right? Like that is the friction created there is going to be what eventually drives through name, image, likeness, and then maybe some sort of revenue sharing. I don't think you're going to get 50% revenue share, but in acknowledging what these guys' values to the schools really are, you may have to engage in some of that eventually.
The medical insurance being extended, I think that's something from an athlete standpoint, from administrative standpoint, you could sell that, and that's something you can support.
One line that also is pretty interesting from later, it says, quote, because the NCAA has failed us, we are prepared to ensure that our conference treats us fairly, whether or not it continues its NCAA membership. So there's always talk floating around about breaking up the NCAA and stuff, right? This is kind of the most direct shot at that I can remember. But ultimately, Jordy, with all this stuff, where to me, I felt like when I read this headline, I was like, whoa, that is seismic. If Pac-12 players really aren't going to play, I mean, you guys got these guys like Penei Sewell from Oregon out there agreeing with this. If they're really not going to play, they can wield a ton of power. But if you are any kind of fan of history, and if you've read anything about labor strikes and unionization and the 20s and stuff, it is really, really tough to form a union. It is really tough to get a united front when your employer has a lot of the power and a lot of the cards. And the more you read about this story, it's very unclear how many players are actually in this. And even the ones that say they are, a lot have verbally agreed and then come back and be like, well, I still want to play though. Like I like playing and, I'm trying to make the NFL. So I don't know. This may end up being more headlines than anything and maybe inspire some action down the road. It doesn't feel like the seismic shift that I originally thought it did.
You saw your first opt-out in college football over the weekend. Caleb Fairley, a cornerback from Virginia Tech. He's a senior going into his senior season. He's going to be a top 10 pick. He's going to be a first-round pick. So I think the decision from his point of view, while difficult to give up football for a season and step away from the college experience, I'd imagine was tough. Deep in his mind, he knows, I'm a first-round pick. The money's going to be there in 365 days. That population, that demographic, there's not a lot in that circle. There's not a lot of guys that can say for sure today. Hell, you rewind the tape 365 days ago from now, and Joe Burrow thought he was going to be a 6th or 7th round pick.
Yeah.
Right? He played himself into the number 1 pick. There's still a lot of guys out there in college football that need that tape, that need those reps, that need those Saturdays on TV so everybody can see that they can play at the next level. So I'm like you. It's easy to say it out loud and be in support, but then you're going to take away my chance to get on the field and earn and show people what I can do and prove that I can play for millions of dollars? Nah, I'm good right now. I'll go ahead and play.
Yeah, or what if you just like football, right? Because football's odd in that you never get to play it again once it's done. It's not like you go join an adult football league. Not real football. You can play flag, you can play all this other stuff, but not real football. It's not like baseball or basketball or anything else. So you only have this short window in which you get to compete at that level. And for a lot of guys who maybe, it's going to be tough for them to want to give that up, not knowing that they're ever going to get anything in return. Because, right, what happens if you strike and then it just never gains momentum and then nothing ever changes and you just wasted your opportunity to be able to play on this stage?
Verge Alsbury was a player at LSU. He played linebacker in the late 80s. He moved into an executive role in the LSU administration. Now he's the associate AD, head of putting the schedules together for the football program. He also has great relationships with the athletes. We'll ask him what the conversations have been like with the student athletes during this time and some of the confusion in trying to get to this 10-game regular season schedule where it's only going to be an SEC schedule. Off the bench, daily powered and driven by All-Star Toyota. Verge Alsbury next.
Off the bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Daily brought to you by All-Star Toyota, and a part of the All-Star family, which we've been reminding you about, is All-Star out in Livingston, right? All-Star Toyota, All-Star Ford, All-Star Dodge, All-Star Kia. Go see the 3 locations out there in Denham Springs. All-Star Toyota is located on the corner of Goodwood and Airline. Remember, 13 brands, 11 locations, a part of the All-Star family. If you're looking for an All-Star Toyota, you can log on to allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
Yeah, go to allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com. If there's one thing in my life right now that feels like the inverse of my Pelicans fanhood, it would be my enjoyment of my new minivan. I've never been as happy with a new vehicle purchase as I am with my Toyota Sienna from All-Star Toyota of Baton Rouge. They made the process incredibly easy for me. They helped guide me to exactly what I was looking for. And now I got the kids, they sleep. It's awesome, man. It's all thanks to All-Star. Go to allstartoyotaofbatonrouge.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by visiting brfoodbank.org or bankingonbr.com.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All Star Toyota today.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Prompt, professional, reliable. If you're looking for a breath of fresh air with your AC and heating needs, call the professionals at Anison Bitter. Anison Bitter, a Rheem Pro partner, keeping your family comfortable for over 25 years.
Yo, join us for a Monday edition of Hanging with Hester and Haney, presented by Richards Honda from noon to 3. We'll welcome on ESPN's Laura Rutledge, as well as SiriusXM and SEC Network's Cole Kubelik to break down the latest news in the SEC on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, stick around in the second hour. We'll talk to Paul Maneri, LSU baseball coach, as the Tigers get prepared here in the off-season. Crazy days of 2020. We'll talk to Coach Maneri about how he keeps his group focused coming up in the second hour. Your weekend winners will lead you off in about 25 minutes here of the 8 o'clock hour. Verge Osbury, who is the Executive Deputy Director of Athletics over at LSU, is a great resource for this because was a player for the Tigers and has been serving in the executive role since then. And now, as we said, the Deputy Director of Athletics joining us here on Off the Bench, ESPN, Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria. Verge, good morning. How are you?
Good morning, Jordy. How are y'all doing today?
Doing good. Thank you for your time, as always. Can you tell me into some of the conversations that you've had with student athletes? Because you've got great relationships with the guys. And let's just go football, but I know that you speak to a lot of people in the athletic department, a lot of the student athletes. But just some of the conversations that you've had with guys, whether they're high-end players or whether they're trying to earn a spot and just kind of trying to get ready for this season from a mental standpoint.
You know, Jordy, it's a little bigger than that also. It's, I have discussions with, all our athletes, about 500 in total, the men athletes, the women athletes. And they talk about, really, I know what's coming out right now with the players, the demands, the Pac-12 situation that came out last night. I had a chance to review that and read those demands. But, talking to our kids here, we hadn't got to that point or into that level of conversations. Our conversations, with the football guys, they want to get back on the field. They want to play. Even the guys who are high potential draft picks, they want to have a football season. We're talking to our women athletes. They want to come back. They want to compete. You remember most of them missed their whole spring, their whole seasons last year. So it's been a lot of adjustments for them, especially mentally. And, Jordan, in our business, we do. We are educators, and we're business people on the other end, but we are educators, and we worry about the mental health, and worry about the health of our athletes, and that's what we're really doing, talking to those young men and women about right now.
I can't imagine the questions that you get on what the fall is going to look like, because I was at the beach this weekend and people, that's all they were talking about is whether a football season is going to exist or not. How many plans did you look at, talk about every day? How much uncertainty is there in your day-to-day operations?
Well, that there's nothing but uncertainty right now, Jordy. And I would tell you this here: Greg Sankey, our commissioner, did a great job in leading us through this process and helping us get to this process and get to where we are today. It's very difficult to do this. There's a lot of questions. There's a lot of uncertainty. And this area is day by day. Things are changing so fast, one way or the other. What phase we want to be in, those type of things. But the most part, we're thinking about the student athletes and how could we have a football season if we have one. There's always three options on the table. Everybody's going through it. Do you play 12 games the whole season? Do you play, 8 games and 2 non-conference games? Or do you just try to get 10 conference games and back the year up some like we did? And that's what, the AD is recommended and the president has voted on. And, that was where we get 10, quality games in the SEC this year and make it fair across the board all the way. So that's why we decided to do that. But to say there's anything after that, would definitely start on a certain date or definitely have a season, everything's up in the air right now. I think we have all options. I think we have all options on the table of what's going to happen next.
Is there a drop dead date where all this stuff just falls off the table?
No, I don't think there's that, and that's why I think that's what uncertainty comes in at, Jordy. I think I tell people. I see guys out there, people making comments about, this is going to happen, that's going to happen. Jordy, right now, nobody knows what's going to happen. And I always tell people they are there saying this is going to happen or that's going to happen. They're not telling the truth because really nobody knows.
Talking to Verge Osbury, Executive Deputy Director of Athletics at LSU. Verge, when you look around kind of professional sports right now and you see like the success of the NBA versus maybe these struggles that the MLB is going through right now, it seems like one side had a much more codified plan, the other side maybe a little more seat of its pants. What is the SEC doing right now in terms of safety protocol and the pandemic age to try to make sure that not just LSU, because LSU's protocols have been great, they've been very effective. What about the league as a whole? How are they trying to keep the entire SEC safe?
I think the league is doing the right thing. They're working with every individual school. And all those situations are different. Major League Baseball, there's some things, underlying issues that happen there that called discipline that got them where they are right now. And, the NBA guys are in the bubble, a little more discipline. The SEC is working with all of us individually. We have the best team in place, one of the best teams in place in the country. Dr. Katie O'Neill, who's in infectious disease at the Light of the Lake, and Shelley Mullinex, leading our charge here. And, how this happens, whether this happens, there's so many questions that could happen, and so many things that could arise. So it's very hard to say, the whole the conference is doing everything for every school. Every school has to have a plan in place for this and how we're going to handle this. And if you have an outbreak of things of that nature, and, right now we're in great shape. So there's so many things on the table. I hate that, I can't give you that definite answer about, what did this happen. We're very comfortable at LSU in our plan and what we're doing. And I can't speak for Alabama or Georgia or Tennessee, but at LSU, we're very comfortable in what we're doing, trying to protect our student athletes.
Yeah. I mean, I guess we'll see how that spins out over time, given that, if you have to go play like a Kentucky or something along those lines. Verge, what about so the start date gets pushed back to September 26th, and you hear that, you're like, okay, great. And then you realize, oh, wait, that's like another month to get ready for the season. Do you have any insight into what LSU plans on doing with those extra weeks leading up to that first planned game?
Yeah, I think we're going to practice like normal. And I think, Coach was smart about it. He's not going to be out there beating and killing his team. I think right now, T-Bob, this is a former player. It's all mental right now.
Yeah.
You get this late in the year, you can't have another spring practice. That's not smart. The thing you do now is get your team mentally prepared to play. You have a new quarterback, the timing with receivers, those type of things, and they'll be working on those type of deals. But you're not going to practice like 2 a days, 5 days a week, 6 days a week.
Yeah.
The thing you're going to do now is pretty much go to what we did for the bowl. This is similar to what we did to get prepared for the SEC Championship and Bowl and National Championship. You had so long of a wait between games and time. So that's how, Coach O is going to be smart about this, and that's how he's going to handle this. And, we're going to make sure that we're fresh. We have a very good football team this year. They're going to surprise a lot of people. I mean, it might be better in some places than we were last year, especially on the defense side of the ball. So I think that's one thing that Coach talked about. He want to be fresh. You want to keep the kids, mentally prepared and mentally ready. And you want to keep them up. You want to keep their spirits up. You don't go in there and beat a football team down to death and, not ready for the football season.
Yeah, I love the fact that people are sleeping on this team, especially nationally. People are expecting, because of the draft day and because of the losses of players last year, that LSU is going to be this totally new team. First, does it ultimately come down to the states and the decisions they make?
A lot of it will be. And, that's when you talk about, the SEC, it really comes down to the state and where we are as a state. That's what I tell people here, majority, discipline yourself, social distancing, wear your mask, do those things. Those numbers have to go the other way. Those numbers are not going the correct way. We're getting better in Louisiana, but we need to go better, go lower. And that's very important to us, those numbers. And, what phase we in. Phase 2 right now, that's what we are as a state. And hopefully, at some time in September, to move into phase 3. You have to worry about, everybody's coming back to campus, coming back to school. You have all the students coming back. You have Southerners coming back. You have the community colleges coming back. You have kids going to school. So there's a lot of opportunities for the virus to spread if we're not disciplined. We're talking to our players about being disciplined. Where you go, where you travel at. They're off this week, and, take care of yourselves. Make sure you're doing the right things, the proper things. And we tell them that so you can have a good football season, everybody's healthy.
Man, I'm bummed for Nicholls State and Coach Rebo and his program. What have those conversations been like? I know it's out of your control, but you were looking forward to getting those guys into Tiger Stadium as much as they were looking forward to making the trip.
Yeah, especially our in-state schools. And, right now, that's just conversations we're having, and we're going to talk to them this week, all of our non-conference opponents, and see what we could do in the future on the scheduling and things of that nature. But it really, it happens so fast. We're preparing right now for the 10 games. That's where we are, and we're preparing our players and our team and our coaches and just getting things ready, making sure all our other sports who are here right now, making sure they're healthy and getting ready for their seasons and their workouts and things of that nature.
Verge, what about when you look at like season ticket holders and fans, and it's all time since they're still up in the air, but like kind of where y'all heads at right now when it comes to people in Tiger Stadium this fall?
We want many fans there as possible. Okay, let's start off like that. And like I said, it depends on what phase we're in. That's going to determine a lot how we have people enter the stadium. And there are people, saw the letter that Scott put out there, the 3 options people are going to have, and we'll start working on the details of those options. Like I said, things have just happened, so we already had the plan in place. It's, now go forward and put all the details to it. There's people out there, I tell people, my parents are 85 and 89. That's high risk category. That's not, wouldn't say they're going to come to a football game this year. I think some things would be on your risk and prepare yourself and stay healthy. But, we just got to prepare what phase we're going to be in. And what phase we're in, we're going from there. Dan Gasson, one of our senior social athletic directors, he has been working on the plan with our people here, with state officials, about, what phase we're going to be in and where we go from there. So I think it's just going to be timing. I think September 26th we'll know a lot. And like I said, it's hard to plan. Things are changing from day to day and week to week. So I think moving it back to September 26th gives us some time here to look at things and see where we are and where we will be as a state.
Give me one name to watch out for in fall camp. One new name that's jumped out to you.
One new name this year, Butte, the receiver, my homeboy from New Iberia. That's what I'm going to go with this year.
I love it. Kayshon Butte, a 5-star wide receiver from South Louisiana. Always good to catch up with you, Verge. Thank you for the time this morning.
Jordan T-Bob, good talking to you.
Yes,
Thank
sir.
you so much, Verge.
There he is, Executive Deputy Director of Athletics, Verge Alsbury, stopping by here on Off the Bench. We will close out hour 1 here on ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, and Alexandria.
Off the Bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
Central Plumbing Company online, centralplumbing.org. Remember, 925-8552 is how you get in touch with the Payne, Zach Payne, Jay Payne, Brandon LeBlanc, and the entire crew over there at Central Plumbing Company. Dial them up this morning, 925-8552. You need residential or commercial plumbing services, they're ready for you this morning. In fact, if you need a generator, full home generator sold and installed to you today, they can handle it. Online, centralplumbing.org.
Go to centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org for all your plumbing needs. It doesn't matter what it is, like something that feels very complicated, like your toilet won't flush at all, or maybe you got like water like spraying out of some random pipes, right? Central Plumbing, they can come out there, they can fix that. Maybe you just have a drain that won't drain, right? Doesn't matter. Anything under the plumbing sun, they know how to solve because they've been doing it for over 4 decades. Old house, new house, doesn't matter. You want a home generator for storm season? You can sell and install you one is there. Everybody's licensed, bond insured, flat rate pricing, excellent warranty. Go to centralplumbing.org, centralplumbing.org.
Off the Bench, hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube page. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat. Find highlights for each show's channel and get notified whenever we go live.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Gulf. Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR. Presented by Relief Windows, the Saints Open Training Camp. All the storylines, we'll have them for you on Monday's AFR. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, appreciate Verge Osbury for his time here on Off the Bench. Remember, OTB Daily powered by All-Star Toyota. Shop online, allstartoyotabatonrouge.com. Weekend winners coming up in 8 minutes here on OTB. We'll give you the weekend winners if you have any. Remember, you can tweet in at OTB_ESPN. If you want to tweet in your weekend winners, we're on YouTube, 104.5 ESPN station there that you can catch live everything that's happening here throughout our shows up until 8 o'clock tonight as Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz sign us off for our local programming at 8 o'clock this evening, so stick around. Anything jump out there from Verge as he stopped by? I know that a lot of what he's speaking about right now is in uncertainty. And that's got to be, for as frustrating as it is for us to be out with the uncertainty of our overall lives, a guy like that's making a decision that everybody's looking towards, season ticket holders, people that want to go out there, tailgate, are waiting on a decision. And he's kind of like, look, we're in the same boat.
Yeah, I mean, the main thing that jumped out to me is it didn't seem terribly like the SEC has a very great kind of overarching plan as far as guideline goes. Seems like they're handling more on a school-to-school basis, which is fine. If you have a school like LSU where Shelley Molnix has gone, to the nth degree, and LSU has the resources to install things that like scan you when you walk in the building to check for temperatures and everything that LSU's on, all the protocols they develop, which are working. Like I said, what if you have to go play Kentucky and they're not treating it in the same way? Or like how the Marlins team, they obviously were doing whatever they were doing so that it spread throughout their team. So like that's a bit concerning. Maybe that changes over time. The SC comes out with a more codified rule set. And then the other thing, it seems like discipline is the word that he kept going back to, even in regards to the MLB versus something like what's going on currently in the NBA. And that, when you're talking about if everything hinges on college kids being disciplined, that's that we'll see how that pans out. It's easy to get very cynical when you hear something like that.
The same group that was 3 deep in Tigerland a month ago?
But to be fair, it hasn't happened since, right? And so like, sometimes you got to get in trouble to not, to learn something, not mess around and get in trouble again. And so we'll see. But even then, it's just like, it does just feel like and this is what people have been saying since day one. You're talking about college football players as an aggregate, right? So like if 99 people do the right thing and one person does the wrong thing, and then that person goes undetected in that building, does that lead to an outbreak, et cetera, we shall have to see. But I do think that the SEC, like that's why you went conference only, right? You didn't go conference only so that each school could make their own plan. I thought you went conference only so that you could have more of an overarching, okay, these are our set of principles and guidelines that we're going to operate under. And so if we're all on the same page here, it's going to give us our best chance of success.
Saints are being proactive as they're going to try out their own bubble, as they are going to rent 4 floors of a local hotel in New Orleans that they'll move into their Tier 1 and Tier 2 employees in on Wednesday. We'll talk about that at 8:15 this morning. Pro Football Talks' Peter King has a great write-up of the Saints' plan and trying to stay safe during these times to get on the field for the regular season to begin in the NFL. We'll catch you up on that in the 8 o'clock hour. We got your weekend winners starting us off here in a couple of minutes. And then Paul Maneri at 8:30. And Russo brought up a good point. Coach Maneri hasn't made a comment about Nick Storrs on the LSU football team. We'll ask Coach about one of his pitchers trying out for the tight end role for LSU football in the fall. Paul Maneri, 8:30. Easy over there, big fella. Football position. Hour 2
Off
next.
the bench with Kalata and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily here by Ochsner. Remember our friends over at Ochsner, the sports medicine institute and program over there. Whether you're a professional athlete, a weekend warrior, or just somewhere in between, the Ochsner Sports Medicine Institute has what you need to get you back in the game as quickly and as safely as possible. They got evidence-based practices, thoughtful strategies. They work to get you back on the field, in the pool, in the gym, on the court, and they do that in no time. Everything is online at ochsner.org.
Go to ochsner.org today, and so if you do get injured, they have the best non-surgical options. They have the best surgeons. The physical therapy facilities really are second to none. I mean, they're the Saints, Pelicans. Like it's as professional as you get. But how about Ochsner performance training, right? You just want to take your game to the next level with things like gait analysis, figure out where you're deficient, where you can get stronger, maximize your potential and your return on your athletics. Go to ochsner.org.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens. Make not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Good morning, everyone. It's 8 a.m. on Monday, August the 3rd. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see sunny skies with a high of 92. In case you missed hour one of the show, you can catch that up at the on-demand section at 1045ESPN.com. Brought to you by Carriages. Coming up in hour two, we give you our weekend winners. Next, LSU head baseball coach Paul Maneri joins the show at 8:30. Remember, you can follow today's show by joining us inside the 1045 ESPN Huddle app. Brought to you by Bayou Ford on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN. Watch us live on the 1045 ESPN YouTube channel. Then get over to the Off the Bench YouTube channel. Subscribe there for daily content every day. Hour number 2 of OTB starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
The Grizzlies are in trouble.
Hour 2 off in that.
The Grizzlies are in trouble.
1045 ESPN Baton Rouge, 100.3 ESPN Radio New Orleans, 94.7 ESPN Alexandria. Online at 1045ESPN.com or on your smart speakers. We see the 235 people watching on YouTube right now. Thank you very much. Like, share that. Tell everybody about it.
Yeah, man.
Hit us on YouTube. ESPN is the station that you can catch the live programming. Everything from the highlights of each show will be on the OTB YouTube page. Anything that happens between 7 and 10 a.m.
If you believe the Pelicans are going to beat the Grizzlies tonight, share the stream.
Hey.
What?
It's over.
I told you.
T-Bob, we're trying to get shares. Don't. We're trying to get shares.
Third cup of coffee. I'm starting to feel it, boys. I'm finally waking up. Rough night last night.
We've been waiting on you to show up. But
I'm
now
back.
that you're here, you can go. You can go back home.
I'm just thinking.
Tough weekend for the Pelicans, man.
I'm just thinking. Yeah, but you know what?
Mismanaged the hell out of the number 1 pick on Thursday night.
Not true.
Couldn't guard the 3-point line on Saturday night.
Terribly true. Terribly true.
Here on Monday, the Rookie of the Year is going to go off.
No chance.
On the Pelicans and John Morant.
No.
Weekend winners coming up here. 8:30, Paul Maneri stopping by. Hour 3. T-Bob's going to sob into the microphone
the Pelicans,
and tell you how the Pelicans are going to win tonight.
No, they're my weekend winners because a lot of times you have to get to rock. You have to get to rock bottom before you can push up to the top, right?
I see what you're doing here. Try to find them a W any way you can.
What's easier than swimming? Just jumping off the bottom of the pool and putting your head above the water, right? I mean, If you're,
Explain that again?
I don't know. Look, don't worry about that. You're getting lost in the
Come
weeds.
again?
Here. The point is,
give my man another cup of coffee.
Must win tonight. Okay, you are not mathematically eliminated by any stretch. This is just like when they started 6-23. The schedule gets easier from here on out. Not a single team left with a winning record. Danny's nodding his head. He gets it.
Which means nothing.
The Grizzlies, they haven't been this spectacular in this bubble. They've been losing to teams without winning records, okay, unlike the Pelicans. So, yeah, Pels, tonight, the point of no return, they get it done, and the march to the A seed begins anew. Can't wait.
I feel like I'm at some anonymous meeting like, hi, T-Bob. Nice to meet you. Who's next? Weekend Winners is next. Turn off the bench. Every Monday morning we do that. Here's the latest edition.
That's how winning is done.
That's right. We can't have anyone freak out there, okay? We've got to keep our composure. We've got too far.
I'm by winning. I win here and I win there. Now what?
Are you doing what it takes to win a championship?
Wow, winning.
Well, then I guess there's only one thing left to do. What's that? Win the whole thing.
A lot of winners are start off from a personal aspect. How about Pensacola Beach? Last trip to the Gulf Coast before football season, so we thought they pushed back the football season. Your boy might schedule another trip or two. But Pensacola Beach has stayed true. No high rises. Still kind of looks retro there, man. You go to Orange Beach, you go to those places, and I love Orange Beach. I'm not hating on Orange Beach, but I mean, there's just high rises there, very corporate. Very corporate around the Floribama, which is a jewel. But Pensacola Beach is it was family. It was great. Shout out to William Miller and his family for having little Jay and I for the weekend. Pensacola Beach for me is a weekend winner. T?
Hell yeah. My first weekend winner. We're going to start in the video game department. How about my guy, Southern eighth grader Troy Murphy. We mentioned this when it happened a few weeks back, but he won the 2K20 National Championship, and now he has a sick championship ring to prove it. It's got like a little Southern Lab decal on it. It's got on the side, it's got like a Xbox 360 controller made out of diamonds. It looks really nice. But shout out to my guy, Troy Murphy, undefeated, 2K20 National Champ. Also, shout out to Abu Marzwanian for naming him a weekend winner.
Should we get him on OTB?
Maybe kick the tires on it. Maybe kick the tires on it.
Moose, what you got?
Sports fans, we talked about it all through the 4 months where we had nothing, how when everything comes back at once, it's going to be like nothing we've ever seen before.
Kind of a little overwhelming.
The timeline is filled with hockey, basketball, golf,
Mookie Betts.
baseball. Mookie Betts hosing people at third base like he does.
What a highlight.
And it's all in the month of August. You don't get those sports all in August all the time.
Yeah.
And it is the paradise we thought it was going to be.
Dan?
My weekend winner goes out to the Pelicans. Not because they got embarrassed.
Hi, Danny. Nice to meet you.
Because they didn't embarrass themselves like Joel Embiid did.
Okay.
Like, well, that's like the ultimate embarrassment of going.
Hey, let your boy.
He embarrassed
Pull
the
back.
Philadelphia 76ers, which is on national TV fighting your own teammates. And it don't get worse than that.
Trust the process.
That's fair. No Pelicans fighting each other. The conversation of whether or not they embarrass themselves Saturday is probably a little more up in the air.
I got a couple of athletes here as weekend winners. How about TJ Warren and Aaron Judge? Judge homered in 5 consecutive games, or his 5th consecutive game on Sunday. That streak's still alive. Becoming the first New York Yankees player in 13 years to accomplish that. The last to do it was A-Rod. The home run Sunday gave Judge 6 home runs and 14 ribbies in 8 games this season. My goodness. Second one, T.J. Warren. T.J. Warren, the Indiana Pacer forward who had never scored more than 40 points in a game in his 6-year career, erupted for 53, including 19 in the fourth quarter during that win over Philadelphia that Danny was talking about with the Embiid Sixers meltdown. 127-121. T.J. Warren got his 53 the hard way with just 4 free throws attempted.
Damn.
How about that? In fact, it's the third most points scored in NBA history with 5 or fewer free throws attempted. Shout out to T.J. Warren, who dropped his 53 points for the Pacers.
This was the first time I'd ever heard of T.J. Warren.
Me too.
And then you do some more reading.
NC State.
See that Phoenix traded him for cash considerations earlier this year. So hell of a deal there for Indy. My next weekend winner, staying in the basketball realm. How about my guy Markelle Fultz?
Yes.
Remember a couple years ago, Markelle Fultz had forgotten even how to shoot a free throw. He was like double clutching former #1 overall pick that had just lost it all. Well, he had a 75-foot shot this weekend. You can see it. Danny's got up there right there. 3/4 court full length shot. That was sweet. But how about this? The stat line in 20 minutes off the bench. Fultz is 6-9 from the field, 2-2 from 3, 14 points.
I like it.
Markelle Fultz that is a guy. You want to talk about hitting rock bottom? The Pelicans can learn from Markelle Fultz on this Monday. Look at how he bounced back. You just have to do that like way quicker. You got to do that by in like 9 more hours.
Yeah, right.
I mean, right? Tip offs at 5:30.
Hi,
Okay,
T-Bob.
there you go.
Hi, T-Bob. Musso, Dan, anything back there? Nothing? I got Jeremy Hill back in the league, weekend winner.
Well,
tweeted out yesterday,
yeah.
Las Vegas Raiders got to make it. Got to make it. But one of the, for my generation, as far as covering sports and being in this job, I'll never, the first play-by-play game that we did here on ESPN Radio, Moscona, Panamsky, and I, it was Redemptorist versus Patterson. That was Kenny Hilliard versus Jeremy Hill. Lyle Collins was on the field that night. Jeremy Hill was the best player on the field that evening. Now, look, Lyle Collins has got all the money in the league, but I've always thought that Hill was a tremendous running back. Hated to see the ACL in 18. I hope he finds his way back into the league because, to me, he is he's got potential to be a special player. And then Walt Lemoyne, the Bruley High School principal, former basketball coach. You won't find Walt Lemoyne as far as any type of record breaker as a basketball coach, but when it comes to educators and leaders, our area may not have a better one. And Walt Lemoyne in Bruley High School was honored yesterday. Bruley High School named the basketball court over there the Walt Lemoyne Court, which it was a long time coming. He's been there since 1988, over 30 years of service. He was an outsider. You know, you rarely see outsiders get into a South Louisiana small town and make an impact and a change.
Yeah.
Walt Lemoyne came from St. Francisville in 1988, got to Bruley, knew nobody, was the basketball coach. 32 years later, affecting lives every single day. Shout out to Walt Lemoyne and Bruley High School, a weekend winner as well, for recognizing Coach Lemoyne and the impact that he's made in naming their basketball court after him over the weekend.
Yeah, there's a nice video of all that, too, where he didn't know about it, so go check that out.
Was that from Jacques?
Yeah, I believe so, or somebody. I shouldn't say. I don't know exactly. My next weekend winner, CeeDee Lamb. How about it? Jerry Jones applying the pressure on CeeDee Lamb early on. CeeDee Lamb will be wearing 88 for the Cowboys as a rookie this year.
A lot of pressure there, CD.
Yeah, I mean, you're talking about the number that Drew Pearson, Michael Irvin, Des Bryant all wore. CeeDee Lamb is now going to be next in that lineage. Apparently, when he was asked back today, oh, yeah, I'll wear number 10 this year, etc. And then it was the big man himself, Jerry Jones. He took his leg off he took his hand. I blew it. Oh, well, whatever.
Wow. Did he? How did he do that?
I was going to say he took his hand off the young woman's leg and placed it on CeeDee Lamb's shoulder and told him, hey, son, you got to wear 88 this year. So shout out to you, CeeDee Lamb, your weekend winner.
And let me see your cell phone. Hell no, Jerry. I'll wear 84. Forget it.
What is the opposite of a weekend winner?
A weekend loser.
I think the helmet shields would maybe fall in the weekend loser category. What did you all think about Sony Fanua's video?
You never want the testimony of it feels like you're breathing into a Ziploc bag.
Oh, my God.
That's not the sales pitch.
terrifying.
That's not the sales pitch you're looking for.
If you haven't seen what we're looking about, LSU the other day showed these full, what do you call them, shields? face shield.
Face mask shield.
Yeah,
face
that you
shield.
insert into the face mask. And Sony Fanua had a video on TikTok, I guess it was. This is pre-Trump ban. And he said that it's just really hard to breathe in. And Austin Deculus walks by and yes, says it's like breathing into a Ziploc bag. It also looked like it fogged up a little bit in the video. I know how miserable it is to practice in South Louisiana heat just in normal pads. I can't really fathom just how terrible it would be to then throw on that mask and feel even more constricted in your breathing. So they're trying out. Everybody's trying new things, but may have to go back to the drawing board with this face shield.
Shout out Ricky Compton for naming a weekend winner. How about Clyde? Clyde Edwards-Helaire. He's going to be the starting running back for KC, as Damian Williams announced over the weekend. He is opting out. Yeah. Williams had over 100 yards in the Super Bowl, has still yet to have a big payday, but his family, somewhere in his family, they have some health concerns, whether it's his mother or a newborn. I'm not sure. I hate to speak out of line there, but Williams opted out of the football season on Friday. Saturday, you got your first look at Clyde in a Kansas City uniform, and by all accounts, it looks like he's going to be the man from start to finish if he can make it through his first regular season NFL.
Well, they still don't they still have Darrell Williams as well?
They do.
So
they do. He's coming off an injury last year as well.
Okay, so a couple LSU guys potentially maybe going to hold it down at running back for the Chiefs.
Those are your weekend winners here on Off the Bench. We will let you hear from Drew Brees, as Brees had a conference call over the weekend. Next, and then Paul Maneri, 15 minutes from now here on OTB, which is daily powered and driven by All-Star Toyota.
Off the Bench with Jordy Culotta and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Coy's Diesel brings you OTB Daily here. Remember, online you can find them at coysdiesel.com. If you need 24-hour roadside assistance on your light, medium, or heavy-duty diesel truck, Coy's Diesel's got you taken care of. They're conveniently located on Airline Highway in Gonzales. They have that emergency hour, 24-hour, the emergency 24-hour service for you. In fact, if you log online to coysdiesel.com right now in the text box, you'll be welcomed to Coy's Diesel by Kristen, which means you can chat with sales, you can schedule a service call, or you can get that 24-hour roadside service to you online at coysdiesel.com.
Go to coysdiesel.com, coysdiesel.com. You're a do-it-yourselfer. You want to shop by part. You can do that right there on the website. Coy is spelled C-O-Y. And I mean, it's right there in the name, right? It's what we say every day. Why would you bring your diesel vehicle anywhere else except for the guys that's what they do 24/7? I mean, they are your diesel experts. Go to coysdiesel.com today.
Our listeners fire up their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 1045 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Le posso offrire un caffè? Andiamo insieme da me, non c'è.
Call Mr. Electric today for electrical repairs, upgrades, and installations.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
Citizens Bank is proud to bring you the Fan of the Week. But during these times with no fans, Citizens Bank is switching its support to the Banking on BR campaign to raise money for the Baton Rouge Food Bank. You can help out by...
Join us on Monday night for Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. We're live at Ruffino's on Highland Road as we recap the weekend in sports, including Pelicans versus Clippers. Tune in from 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
In one of my daydreams on the beach, I don't know if it was Thursday or Friday, I was thinking how we could find a resolution to the music here, especially between 7 and 10 a.m. I could care less what happens the other local shows, but I'm going to make a plea and give an opportunity to a local artist, a local Louisiana artist, South Louisiana artist, somewhere in Louisiana, whether you're in New Orleans, Lafayette, Baton Rouge, Monroe, Shreveport, you find us. If your friend is an artist, a music artist, we want to have exclusive music here on Off the Bench, and we're going to give you an opportunity. If you're an artist out there and you think your music fits our vibe, get in touch with it. You can tweet at us at OTB_ESPN. You can easily get in touch with me, Jordy at 1045ESPN.com. We've got to do something about the sound here between 7 and 10 a.m. And if you feel like your sound fits, get in touch with us, and we will give you exclusive music rights right here between 7 and 10 a.m. and let you get all your spins, get all the promotion you want, and we will make sure and give you that love. And when we come into the show, when we sign off on the show, we'll say music is provided by. And
well, maybe
just
we
got to make sure it fits the vibe.
Maybe we don't do like an exclusive thing, right? We get a bunch of artists, and then we can just credit them.
We'll workshop it. I was not in a good headspace when I was daydreaming on the beach, thinking up the plan. But now that I'm saying it out loud, it's not bad. It's
a pretty good plan.
So
it's a pretty good plan.
Send me back to the beach. I'll bring back more ideas.
I hope the Pelly's got a plan like that
Drew Brees
tonight.
was on a conference call, man.
I think the plan. What we should have said there is
tomorrow's going to be so rough.
It looks like the Saints have a pretty good plan.
There you go. Yeah, get off that Pels because I hate to hear just any more of it.
Who's in worse shape, the Pelicans or the music on our show right now?
Music by far.
Okay, there you go. So
by
we're good.
far, but that just gives you an idea of how bad the music is because the Pelicans are dead and done. The Saints, we told you in headlines an hour and a half ago. Pro Football Talks Peter King first to report that the Saints are going to try to do a little something different than the rest of the league. They're going to try their own bubble. They are renting 4 floors at the Lowe's Hotel in New Orleans that they will move their Tier 1 and Tier 2 employees in on Wednesday, and will have the opportunity and the choice, it's not mandatory, to stay there until opening day of the regular season. Sean Payton had some pretty good quotes to Peter King over at Pro Football Talk, saying that it's like creating a game plan with a likelihood of success. We're just trying to increase the odds of success, is what Peyton told Peter King over at Pro Football Talk. You like the idea?
I love the idea. We've talked a lot about Sean Payton being very forward-thinking lately, and this makes a ton of sense to me. Everybody in the NFL, everybody in college football is trying to learn from everything that's going on around them in other sports. And so when you look and see the success that like the MLS and the NBA are having in their bubbles in Orlando versus some of the struggles that the MLB is currently having, or like college football and college athletics having to shut down workouts for the summer and stuff, then it's all about controlling variables, controlling the chaos. And so if you can create a more bubbled sort of environment, then you would imagine that would pay dividends, especially for this this kind of run up to the regular season where you're not in a great rhythm necessarily like you would be during a game week where maybe things are a bit more scheduled out and you have less players on the team, so that's less to kind of watch for. As you're still a bigger roster now, I think this makes a lot of sense.
All right, Drew Brees was speaking on a conference call this weekend. Some of these bites are a little longer. This one runs about 71 seconds, talking about the comments that he made a couple of months ago.
Now, there are three key things I want to make very clear. Number one, I'll always stand for the flag because of what it means to me and to honor all those who have sacrificed, who have served, and died for our country, and all those who have struggled to move this country forward. Second, I acknowledge and respect anyone who chooses to kneel or any other form of peaceful protest to bring attention to the social injustices and systemic racism that so many have endured and continue to endure in our country. I will always support and advocate for the black and brown communities in the fight for social justice, always. Third, I'm the same person now that I've always been. I'm someone who cares deeply for people in my community, New Orleans, the state of Louisiana, people everywhere. I'm someone who will always address the inequities and disparities that exist. I'm someone who has great empathy for those who are hurting, struggling, or victims of injustice. And I'm someone who feels a great sense of responsibility to serve and to lead and to bring true equality to everyone.
There's that spit shine Drew Brees we've come to know over the last 20 years, reading off a cue card.
Oh no, yes, it was a prepared statement, but I'm gonna take a less cynical approach here. I take this at face value. I said it when he first came out there and caught all the flack for what he said. I never thought what he had originally said was out of malice. I think it was maybe not recognizing where his teammates were coming from. And so what he said right there is completely fair to me. Ultimately, everybody's going to feel differently about the flag. And so if he wants to stand for it, excellent. That should be applauded. And if somebody wants to peacefully protest, but it's an American ideal, that too is all well and good. And as far as put his money where his mouth is, don't forget, just donated another $5 million. Donated $5 million to Louisiana back in March. Just donated another $5 million last week.
I will always say that Drew Brees in his comments post the comment that he was talking about was in protection of Drew Brees, the corporation and brand. I still feel like that today. I also recognize that the good charities and the goodwill that he's done for South Louisiana. Here is Drew Brees talking more about the schedule so far up to this point.
We all got here on Monday, right? And so Tuesday was testing, go home. Wednesday test, go home. Thursday nothing. Friday test, go home. Saturday physicals, Sunday physicals, and then finally, if you make it all the way through that with a clean bill of health, then you can step foot in the facility on Monday, and then there's a 10-day ramp-up period, right? That's no practice. It's just walkthroughs and it's lifting weights and conditioning, and then you get into a period of practices with no pads, and we're not putting pads on for about 2.5 weeks, and then you have this 3-week period where it's this incredible sense of urgency. You haven't had a chance to see the rookies, haven't had a chance to see the free agents, really haven't had a chance to be together as a team. And still, the situation is not like a normal training camp would where, man, you're all in that locker room and it's super tight, and you're at the hotel and it's super tight, and you're having those moments to really develop the camaraderie and all the stuff that goes along with, what training camp is partly about.
Off the bench, daily brought to you by All-Star Toyota, All-Star Toyota of BatonRouge.com. Here's Brees speaking about his health going into another season.
I feel good. I feel good. My body feels good. My arm feels live. Look forward to getting back on the field with the guys and get rolling.
If I hear another person talk about Drew Brees' noodle arm and how that's going to affect him this year, I might throw something through a window. Like you recognize, even with that noodle arm, you were talking about the guy that in the last 4 games of the regular season last year threw 15 touchdowns, no picks, had a 137 passer rating, over 1,100 yards, 75% completion, and was NFC Offensive Player of the Month. Arm strength is one of the most overrated aspects of playing quarterback.
Drew Brees cannot throw the deep ball anymore. Here he was talking about that.
Yeah, I mean, we've been working on that since March, and we've applied a lot of different techniques and a lot of different training methods. There have been some moments of discovery with us this offseason. Really COVID presented a great challenge, obviously, because we couldn't go to our normal places and do our normal things, and so we had to adapt with what we were doing from a training perspective. Most of it happened in my backyard, but we discovered a few things in the process. So it was interesting that the circumstances of COVID created that, but at the end of the day, there were some beneficial things that came from that I'm hoping will pay dividends.
There you go.
One more from Brees on the deep ball.
Listen, if the opportunities are there, I let it fly. And if it's not, then you check it down and live to play another day. I feel like perhaps in years past we had more opportunities down the field than maybe have presented themselves over the last 2 years. I don't think it's our lack of being able to do it or lack of calling the plays for it. It's just it's hit or miss at times, and then there's a risk reward to it as well. So at the end of the day, what's the ultimate goal? Well, it's to drive down the field and score touchdowns. So if we can do that in 3 plays with a couple big plays, long pass plays down the field, then great. But if we've got to put together 14 play drives, then we'll do that too.
One more.
Well, I was just going to say also, I would maybe push back a little bit against that because I do think that his, he's not going to bomb it like Mahomes can, right? And so when you game plan, you're going to game plan a bit differently. But it's not just all about his arm strength. Who's been your real deep threat these last couple of years? Like an old Ted Ginn? Yeah, ironically, kind of like Taysom Hill a bit by the end. And then who's your best receiver? Mike Thomas. Well, where's Mike Thomas do his best work in the short to intermediate game, fighting people over the middle? So there's a lot of factors that led the Saints to maybe a more kind of, as he said, conservative, ticky-tack, let's drive the ball down the field approach. I wonder if Emmanuel Sanders helps unlock some of those more big play parts of the playbook once again.
We will play the Emmanuel Sanders bite after the Paul Mainieri interview. It's a longer one, but let's get to Coach Mainieri next year on Off the Bench.
Off the Bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily by the Lanois, Lanoix agency.com. BG Lanois, Randy, Brian, and David all standing by this morning. If you need auto insurance, home insurance, business insurance, flood insurance, remember you can bundle that up for monthly savings, all from our friends at Lanois, Lanoix agency.com. Call the boys this morning, 749-5640. First-hand testimonies from Off the Bench. Remember, I've got the auto, home, and flood insurance bundled up. T-Bob just got a new car. It was very easy with the auto insurance there. Online, Lanoix agency.com.
Lanoixagency.com, Lanoixagency.com. Go there today for all your insurance needs. Yes, we do bundle our home and auto. That's great. We get our flood insurance from Lanoix, max coverage at a rate that you're happy with. And so you have that peace of mind, which is ultimately what you're looking for. You're also looking for someone who's going to constantly try to save you money and who, when you have to file a claim, is on your side, and you get that all with Lanoix. Go to Lanoixagency.com.
In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as a bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Yo, join us for a Monday edition of Hanging with Hester and Haney, presented by Richards Honda from noon to 3. We'll welcome on ESPN's Laura Rutledge, as well as SiriusXM and SEC Network's Cole Kubelik to break down the latest news in the SEC on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
Get back to some of the Drew Brees comments coming up here on Off the Bench. Remember, we're daily driven and powered by All-Star Toyota. You can shop them online at allstartoyota of BatonRouge.com. Tons of sports happening right now, right? NBA is back. Major League Baseball is up and moving. You're talking about college football and the NFL. College baseball, one of the most effective sports from this. Suspended nearly halfway through their regular season last spring. No summer, a little bit of summer, but not as active as they have been in past years. And then fall ball still up in the air on whether or not when they are going to start to get prepared for next season. 14 years head coach, one of the best in the business, over 1,400 wins, number 2 on the career wins list for active NCAA coaches, and LSU's head baseball coach, Coach Paul Mainieri, is checking in with us this morning here on Off the Bench. Good morning, Coach. How are you?
Good morning, Jordy. How you doing?
Doing okay. I guess just this time, the crazy days of 2020, we talked to you a little bit about it before or right at the beginning of the COVID process. Now that you've had the time to go through it, how wild has it gotten for the baseball program?
Well, certainly not over yet. We know that. It's the most unusual of times. Yesterday we had a Zoom call with our entire team yesterday, and we had on it Shelley Mullenix, who's our Associate Athletic Director for Health and Wellness, and she basically made about an hour-long presentation to the guys about how to manage this COVID, from wearing their mask to every other protocol that's necessary. So it's, as I told the players, this is the new normal. We can sit around and complain about it, or we can sacrifice and be conscientious about everything. Think about your teammates, think about your neighbors, do the right thing, and hopefully we can keep everybody healthy and get through fall practice. And then be optimistic that there's a vaccine on the horizon, and maybe even before spring season, and everything will be back to normal. But we just have to take it one day at a time and deal with it and make the adjustments that are necessary. And we've got to get through fall practice and see what we have with this ball club.
What was the summer like? I mean, what was the summer like as far as production
Well, actually, we got a lot more done than I thought we would. We had several players that went out and played really, really well, actually. Cade Doty, I think, led the South Florida Collegiate League in hitting a hit 429. Cade Beloso hit 420. Collier Cranford, unfortunately, pulled a hamstring after about 4 or 5 games. I think he only had about 12 at-bats, but was doing well. Zach Arnold, who missed the entire season, had a really good summer down there, played extremely well. Giovanni was doing pretty well until he slid into second base and broke a finger. I think the thing that really was most encouraging for me was Dylan Cruz played in a collegiate league down in his area in Orlando. Got off to a really slow start, but the last 10 games, my goodness, he was hot as a firecracker. He probably hit 500 and hit 2 home runs and a couple of doubles. And if I showed you the videos of those swings, you'd get pretty excited. Let's see, Jake Wyeth, who's a catcher that's coming in this fall, went out to Kansas and played really well. Will Safford played well. Jordan Thompson didn't hit a lot, but got some good time in. Drew Bianco went up to the Northwoods League, got to play for another month. Brody Drost, who is from Barb High School, played this summer and swung the bat really well. Gavin Dugas made the All-Star team down in the South Florida Collegiate League. So, a lot of the position players got out there and played. We had a few pitchers that went out and pitched. Not everybody. We were hoping to have everybody go out, but there were reasons why we ended up shutting guys down. But I think we got a lot more out of this summer than I had anticipated us getting, to be honest with you.
Coach, I saw Will Safford the other day working out with Cabrera, and I called Safford's high school football games while he was at university, and his athleticism, I think, is going to surprise a lot of people. How have you been able to evaluate your rookie class this summer and your expectation for that group going into the season?
Well, Will's a special kid. He played defensive back for a state championship U-High team until he was injured and didn't get to play his senior year. But we've always thought highly of him as an athlete, and he's a spunky player. And he's only going to be a freshman, and we've got some good depth in the infield. It's going to be a real battle between 5 or so guys for those 3 positions, and Will's going to be right in there. Obviously, Dylan Cruz, was a real headliner for us to be able for when he pulled himself out of the draft, and then he got off to a real slow start this summer. And I was like, well, man, I hope he's going to get through this, But I'm telling you, the last 10 games, if you'd have seen him play, you'd say this guy should have gone in the first round. He just looks the part. He's the athlete. He can hit him a long way. He can run. He can do a lot of good things. So, I'm anxious to see all the arms, the pitchers that we brought in. We brought in a lot of them, 11 new ones. One of them is a two-way player, and Brody Drost. He's an outfielder and a left-handed pitcher. But we didn't anticipate holding on to all of them, but we did, and we got some quality arms there to complement the guys that we do have coming back. So it's got a chance to be a pretty elite pitching staff like it was last year. Obviously, we lost Cole Henry off that staff, but having Jaden Hill back and Marceau and Labus, that's going to be a pretty good rotation. And then when you complement it with the bullpen like Fontenot and Beck and Kaminer and George, those guys, Mikhail Hilliard had a good game the other day pitching for the Acadiana Cane Cutters. And then you add to it all those arms we got coming in. I'm excited about the pitching staff that Alan Dunn has to work with.
And so you say you want to evaluate those guys more, Coach. We've talked a lot about fall schedules because football's like constantly moving around. Has it affected y'all? Like, what comes next for y'all? What's your fall schedule looking like?
So getting the guys back into being able to start full squad practice is basically a 6-week process, T-Bob. They have to have 2 weeks of quarantine, which the first week of quarantine should have started last night after that meeting with Shelley Mullenix. Okay. While they're home, we're trusting that they're going to quarantine themselves for a week. And then they arrive here. The returning players come in next Sunday on August 9th. The new players will come in on August 12th. And then they'll have physicals right after they arrive, both groups. And then they quarantine for another week. And I know that's going to be hard. You're in Baton Rouge, you want to have fun, but the reality is this is a new world we're living in, and we have to make sacrifices. So if everybody does the job and they sacrifice and they quarantine for 2 weeks and everybody's healthy, then that'll start another 2-week period where they can be with our strength and conditioning coach, Travis Roy, for 2 weeks. where he'll condition them, have them lift weights. They can start using the facilities again for voluntary practices, using the batting cages and so forth. But we have to schedule them for voluntary workouts so that we don't have too many people in the facilities at the same time. And then the following 2 weeks, the last 2 weeks of that 6-week period, would be individual practices with the coaches. So then after those 6 weeks are up, we get to September 20th, and that's when we'll start fall practice, and we're going to not scrimmage the first day, but starting the second day, the 21st, we're going to scrimmage virtually, well, I would say probably about 90% of the days, and get as much scrimmage time in. We're going to try to even extend pitchers beyond the typical 2 or 3 inning outings that they would do in the fall, so we could get a better look at them, and also for them to get more mound time since they missed so many innings last spring, and many of them didn't pitch this summer.
Yeah, wow, what a crazy! So it's going to start actually before the first football game. Yeah. Well, then we're talking to LSU head baseball coach Paul Mainieri. Speaking of football coach, I don't think we've asked you this on air yet, but one of your guys left and went and joined the football team, and now all of a sudden LSU has a 6'5", 260 tight end. How about Nick Storrs going to put on the helmet?
I think he's like 6'7", not 6'5". He's a big old man. There's no doubt about that. But Nick will return to the baseball team in the spring, and there's not a finer person on our campus than Nick Storrs. I'm telling you, he's the greatest teammate, the wonderful person, and a really super athlete. This guy is 6'7", 250, and you wouldn't know it because he's so athletic. I mean, it's so well distributed, and he's just a big man. He's just a big man. And I watched his football highlight tapes like everybody else did, and I was kind of sitting there with my jaw open seeing some of the athletic moves that he made, but I'm really not surprised. And, everybody knows Nick came to LSU as a very highly touted pitcher. We thought we were going to lose him to the draft, but his senior year in high school, he developed some arm problems. Didn't get to pitch much, so he didn't go in the draft. We thought it was a coup for us to get him here at LSU, and I still feel it's a coup, even though his first couple years he didn't get to pitch at all because he had 3 surgeries on his arm. And then this last year he started to turn the corner. He pitched in 7 or 8 games, I think, and there was mixed results, but his stuff wasn't what it was before all the surgeries. But I felt like it was coming on, and then of course the season gets shut down. And he called me this summer, and he just said, "Coach, what do you think about playing football?" And I was so excited, and I think I caught him by surprise because I told him, I said, "Nick, you only get to go through this one time in your life. I don't think you should to have any regrets with your life. Go for all the gusto you can. If you want to play football and Coach Orgeron wants you to play football, I think you should do it." So he was really excited that I gave him that level of support, and I really meant it. I want the kid to have a great experience here because he's a phenomenal human being.
That's cool. Awesome, that's great leadership there from Paul Mainieri as he's telling the story about Nick Storrs joining the football program. He will be back with the baseball program in spring. You had 16 guys in the Major League Baseball player pool going in to the season. 9 of them started on MLB opening day rosters, and they've been playing well, whether it was Bregman hitting over his 100th career home run or Jacoby Jones just making highlight after highlight. Have you been able to keep up with some of the guys in the bigs, and what's this time been like for them?
Oh, yeah, I've been keeping up with them, and most of them have been playing really well. Yeah. LeMahieu had a 4-hit game the other day and led off a game with a home run, and he's picking up where he left off last year. Listen, last year, if there wasn't a guy named Mike Trout in baseball, the MVP would have either been LeMahieu or Bregman. Right. They both had phenomenal years, and Bregman's had a little bit of a slow start for him, although he won the game yesterday with a base hit in the 11th inning and has hit a couple of home runs already. Aaron Nola pitched well but didn't win the opening game of the year, and then unfortunately the Phillies got shut down because they had played the Marlins in the opening series, and so they haven't played since. I'm hoping that I haven't checked the schedule. I think the Phillies are starting back up today, and I assume Nola will be on the mound. But, yeah, a lot of the guys are doing well. Austin Nola's catching regularly for the Seattle Mariners. Will Harris is up there in Philadelphia now. Andrew Stevenson is up in Washington with the defending world champions. So a lot of guys are doing well. I'm excited. Jacoby is going crazy. I think he's hit 3 home runs, and he's won like 2 games with home runs late in the game. And So hopefully he can get the Tigers going in the right direction, and his contributions would help them go in the right directions, obviously.
Coach Paul Mainieri, another year 14 for the head coach, as he is getting his crew ready for fall ball and spring baseball again at the box. I know everybody is ready to see your guys performing again. Thank you for the update this morning, Coach.
Okay, guys. Good to be with you.
Yes, sir.
Thanks,
there he is,
Coach.
Coach Paul Mainieri checking in from LSU Baseball. We'll close out hour 2 next.
Off the bench with Kalana and T-Bob.
All-Star Toyota brings you OTB Daily here. Got a couple of people inside the huddle and inside of the YouTube Watch app talking about they're taking a trip this week. Remember, the ability to rent vehicles from All-Star Toyota. You can do that over in the service department with Miss Lisa Sessions. You just call All-Star this morning. If you look online, All-Star Toyota, BatonRouge.com. Get in touch with Lisa Sessions. We told you a couple of weeks back, Jesse McCormick, who is a loyal listener to this program, took his family on a road trip, got in touch with All-Star Toyota. They hooked him up with a Sienna minivan for the road trip. He was talking about how easy it was to get into that process. Online, All-Star Toyota, BatonRouge.com.
Yeah, and then once you go minivan, you never go back. That is known. And I'm sure that he loved it because it has everything that your family could need. But I get it. You're not there yet, right? You want that Tundra. You've had your eyes on it for a while. How does $4,500 customer cash out right now in a brand new 2020 Tundra? Sounds pretty good to me. Go to All-Star Toyota, BatonRouge.com.
We opened up the playbook and expanded our coverage. Listen daily in high definition on 98.1 HD2. We are 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
In an eye out for danger.
If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank.
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR. Presented by Relief Windows, the Saints Open Training Camp. All the storylines, we'll have them for you on Monday's AFR. Join us 3 to 6. 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
All right, appreciate Coach Paul Maneri for stopping by on this Monday morning. Remember, everything from OTB or some of the highlights can be found on OTB's YouTube page. Make sure you are subscribed and notified on all the content that is uploaded throughout the day. We're live on ESPN station until 10 a.m., hanging with Jacob Hester and Charles Hannegriff. Will be back here at noon till 3 to 6 after further review, 6 to 8. Game night with Jimmy. No, game time.
Game time.
Damn it.
I made the mistake
with Jimmy
a couple
and
times.
Ben Mintz.
Hey, well, check it out. If you would have played, if you follow Game Time on Twitter, and if you would have played 18 hours ago, Otter tweeted, really like Spurs +3, Suns +6, Magic -2 if you're feeling lucky. That's a 3-0 night for our guy Jimmy Ott. So
Give me the Grizzlies +3 tonight.
Give them a follow at Game Time 1045. Is that really is that the spread?
Pelicans are favored by 3.
Hey, they get it. Vegas knows.
Breeze, Drew Brees. We told you that we'd give you the Drew Brees soundbite with Emmanuel Sanders talking about how it was this offseason working with the new number 2 wide receiver. Here is Brees speaking about that this weekend on a conference call.
I flew out to Denver and spent some time with Emmanuel. So we had a good couple days together. This was back in June. So that was really valuable. So I feel great about him, and obviously he's a savvy veteran player. I think he brings a great element with his skill set as being a great guy with Michael Thomas, and I think as a great veteran presence for that room. That receiver room is still relatively young. Traquan Smith, I think, has a great opportunity this year. And I think we've got some young receivers that I'm really excited to see how they've progressed from last year to this year. Obviously you guys know how we like to move guys around and utilize all these weapons. So I think that'll be great. I was able to get a couple guys to San Diego as well and be able to work with them. So we did our best to navigate the COVID situation, but I was able to get some good work in with guys.
One more from Peyton, or one more from Breeze talking about his relationship with Peyton going into another season.
Well, there's a great deal of mutual respect. I also feel like we're both highly motivated people, and I think every year, every day, our approach is that we both feel this compelling reason to improve and to get better and to constantly evolve to stay ahead of the curve. And so when those goals are aligned and we're both fighting for the same thing, we always know that decisions are made in the best interest of the team. Decisions are made to push us forward and to put us in the best position to win.
So that's Drew Brees on some of his comments from the weekend, his conference call going into another training camp as the Saints are on the practice field beginning to prepare for the regular season. Don't forget Hour 3 of Off the Bench, which is always driven and powered by All-Star Toyota. T-Bob, I guess we'll tell you how the Pelicans are going to perform tonight, but I can give you the synopsis and analysis here in the last 20 seconds of the second hour. The season for the Pelicans is dead. The bird has had its wings clipped and cannot fly anymore. They have mismanaged the number 1 pick into a point where it's time to just shut the season down, bring them back to New Orleans, and get ready for December. Whatever T-Bob tells you for the next hour, don't believe it. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 7 a.m.
Off the Bench with Collada and T-Bob.
Brought to you daily by Secure Shredding and Recycling. Online, SecureShreddingandRecycling.com. Gaines, Garrett, and the crew over there are ready for you today. Remember, mobile shredding is available. If you need them to come to the office, they can head over there. They're online, SecureShreddingandRecycling.com. You can get in touch with them easily over there. Remember, the entire listening area, New Orleans, Lafayette, Alexandria, Baton Rouge, all service areas of Secure Shredding and Recycling. If you mention Off the Bench, they demolish hard drives. The first 2 will be done for free. Online, SecureShreddingandRecycling.com.
Yeah. Feeling pretty cocky saying all that stuff this morning. We'll see how you feel come 5:30 when the local guys tip it off. you don't end up on freezing cold takes. Speaking of local, Secure Shredding and Recycling are as local as it gets. LSU grads that can take care of all of your document destruction needs, gives you better customer service and a better price than the national guys. Go to SecureShreddingRecycling.com.
This is big. Really big. I mean, really, really, really big. Because Honda's summer clearance event is going on right now at Richards Honda. With 0 to the 4th power on brand new Honda Civics. That's 0 down, 0 due at signing, 0 security deposit, and 0 first month payment. Plus, summer clearance on every new vehicle in stock. Just another reason why people call Richards Honda the smart choice. I-12 at Millerville Road and richardshonda.com.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her Auctioner primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an Auctioner care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioner Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
This hour is brought to you by Spencer Callahan Injury Lawyers.
Good morning, everyone. It's 9 a.m. on Monday, August the 3rd. Today in Baton Rouge, expect to see sunny skies with a high of 92. Coming up today on OTB OT, host of the Locked On Pelicans podcast, Jake Madison, joins the show at 9:30 to recap the Pelicans' loss to the Clippers. You can follow today's show by joining us inside the 104.5 ESPN Huddle app, brought to you by Bayou Ford, on Twitter or Instagram at OTB_ESPN. Make sure you subscribe to the Off the Bench YouTube channel for new content every day, and get over to the 104.5 ESPN YouTube channel and watch us live. Also subscribe there. Our OTBOT starts right now.
All-Star Toyota presents Off the Bench with Jordy Collada and T-Bob Hebert. ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
What is going on, y'all? Welcome in hour number 3 of OTB. If you're watching live on YouTube, thank you. Share it with all of your friends. If you're listening on the radio, thank you as well. If you are listening on demand in the future, how is it? I hope it's going great. Thank you to you as well. This is OTBOT. This is hour 3, where we go off the beaten path a bit. And what that has meant lately is that we talk a lot of NBA. And so we will break down the NBA. We will also break down Giannis why am I blanking right now? Cespedes. Just completely piecing out on the Mets this weekend in one of the funniest sports stories that I can remember of recent memory. You also got Antonio Brown, his situation becoming a bit more clear. The reason why I bring this up, I want to update, we talked about it last week, right? Lamar Jackson, somebody who never says anything controversial, has been stumping to bring Antonio Brown to the Ravens, and the NFL cleared up some of the drama around Brown. So we'll get to that a bit later. Some breaking news here, though, this morning. It's from 30 minutes ago, so we're still getting the details, but it looks like The Rock has purchased the XFL. He's teamed up with, I think it's like Redbird Capital, and they have bought the XFL for $15 million. What do y'all think, boys? Is $15 million more or less than you would have thought the XFL would command as a purchase price?
I'd say right now, I kind of thought more initially. That was my first thought.
It is a bankrupt football league. That is true.
$15 million. I think it would have probably survived had it COVID pandemic not had to shut it down.
I think so too.
So I see it from that point of view. It looks to have more stability than the American Football Alliance.
The AFL didn't have much. Yeah. I mean, because like the football wasn't great in either one. The XFL football was definitely better than the AFL. AFL football was really bad, but also like the production value, the channels it was on, the AFL never stood a chance. The XFL, at least from a production value standpoint, was doing some very interesting things.
They were, put in some new rules that might carry over to the NFL at some point. So, I mean, $15 million probably maybe could be construed as low. But, hey, Vinnie Mac keeping it in the family there with The Rock buying it.
See, I view it as less of a keeping it in the family, and I feel like that's the people's champ getting one back on the corporation.
You think that could be? It could be.
That's The Rock taking it to Vinny.
He was part of the corporation.
I
for
know
a while,
he had the corporate elbow, the corporate eyebrow, but then did he go people, corporate people, or
people, corporate people?
Okay,
no, actually, it might have been. Yeah, I think that was right.
Wrestling is so stupid.
It's the best.
But yeah, The Rock, though, man. I actually fell into a Rock Instagram hole this weekend where he has like a 2-year-old daughter, right? And I have a 2-year-old daughter. And I just can't imagine what it's like because I have lived in the summer of Moana. My little daughter's been obsessed with Moana all summer. What is it like when you're actually Maui? Like you can sit there and you sing the songs and you do the voice. And it's like, no, your dad is actually that guy that your little girl is obsessed with. That. And then apparently The Rock loves his tequila, which I didn't realize I've actually been drinking. It's excellent. And The Rock's cheat days are pretty legendary. Needless to say, The Rock's the man, and he now owns the XFL. So a little bit of life. And as far as I think, I mean, $15 million to me is a rock bottom price, considering some of. Oh wow, God. Okay, that was accidental too. That's a very good price, considering how much juice that brand had earlier this spring. And I think there is something there, and the production and the TV ratings spoke to some potential. So shout out to The Rock. We'll see if that situation develops anymore this morning. Before we dive into these Pels, boys, how's your weekend? Weekend check-in. Do anything exciting?
Nah, man, we just had the chill weekend like we planned. Played golf yesterday.
Hell yeah.
Just other than that, we had game night on Saturday night. Just kind of relaxed, man.
I mean, just watch sports, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they were all over the place this weekend, dude. It was constant. It was 24/7. Danny, what about you?
Yeah, the Rockets had an all-star game over the weekend.
Yeah, he was.
Nobody played defense.
Wasn't the first half score like 80-something or 70-something?
Yeah. It was
the Rockets, bruh. The Rockets look pretty strong in this bubble right now.
Yeah,
that was a state. No defense. You saw him put the clamps on the Bucks down the stretch last night. Old Harden had Giannis falling over after traveling. I mean, it was. Look. I don't like the Rockets.
You know, watch really like look out for the Raptors. Raptors look good.
Yes, the Raptors look good. I'm still, I don't know. That's on me because I'm still being a bit elitist, and I can't give myself over to the Raptors because I mean, look, Kyle Lowry balled, Van Vliet balls, but it's a testament to that organization though that they still are where they are. It's just the Rockets look like they're doing some very different things right now, and it's paying dividends. So let's talk about this bubble then, because that's what I did. I just watched sports all weekend long. I did go to the pool Saturday. Shout out to me and my guy Alan. He had his grandkids there. We hung out probably about 4 or 5 hours straight. Probably got a little more, inebriated than I realized by the time I arrived home for that Pelicans game. Walking distance, no driving, obviously. And I was fired up, right? So I got a good buzz on. I ate some good food. I think I had some tacos. I was fired up, and it just felt like, it was horrible from the jump. Even after the first quarter, I think they made 6 of their first 7 threes, and you knew you were in trouble. And it's funny because after that close Jazz loss, I heard a lot of I'd rather get blown out than lose like that, right? Losing that close game hurts so bad. Well, I don't feel that way anymore. I never felt that way at the beginning, but I got to say, getting blown out hurt way worse, and it was way more embarrassing. And as Danny is playing on the screen right now, that was my Pelicans first half review. It was inspired by what I think is one of the funniest scenes in movie history, and that is in Team America World Police, where the puppet is throwing up outside of the club. Have you ever seen Team America?
I have not.
It's made by it's a movie featuring only puppets, and it is made by the creators of South Park, Matt Stone and Trey Parker, and it is fantastic. But they have a scene where the guy throws up for I think a minute or 2 minutes straight, and to show you how broken and juvenile my lizard brain is, I can't see that scene literally without being reduced to tears. It's not even just I giggle at it. I will start crying, and it was perfectly representative of what that first half felt like. So, yeah, the close game felt infinitely better than what the Clippers did to you Saturday. That was one of the most angry I've been as a sports fan in a long time. Like I said, raging to the point of throwing my phone, which you should never do. It doesn't even give you an emotional payoff. And then all you're going to do if your phone breaks, you're just going to be more angry and more upset because you were weak-minded. The team's frustrating you, so don't do that. I just bring that up to say how mad I was. There's some really scary numbers coming out of this. The Pelicans starters in those final 17 games, remember how good we talked about they were? The 17 games before the shutdown. They were outscoring opponents by 26 per 100 possessions. Thus far, 16 minutes into the bubble, they've been outscored by 21 points. That's a 47-point swing. So, look, things are bad. Turnovers, terrible. Turnovers are the bane of this team. Make no mistake. That throughout the Alvin Gentry era, that has been the weather vane for how this team is going. If you're trying to look for something to kind of point you in the direction that it's going to go, it's why they look so good in the scrimmages. They didn't turn it over. It's why they look so bad these last couple times out. 21 turnovers against the Jazz, 18 against the Clippers. What's even more damning, though, you had 16 turnovers after the third. So in all reality, had the game just not had nobody cared about the game at all by that point, you were on pace for another 20-plus turnover game. Before we move forward and look into tonight, the Zion thing to me is a moot point. Jordy referenced Zion being mismanaged a lot. I don't agree. Now, the conversation about because a lot of people seem to say, well, I understand the minutes restriction, but you could be using those minutes in a better way. And that argument, I'm willing to entertain more. And I can't completely shut that down because I think there is some validity there. Now, the Pelicans will tell you that the reason why he's playing at the beginning of the quarter versus the end of the quarter is they don't want to have this let's say he plays the beginning of the third and you try to stick him at the end of the fourth. That's a long stretch where he's just sitting there on the bench. I figure, couldn't you do a soccer thing where you get up and you warm up or you get on a bike? I would think there's ways around that. But in terms of overall usage, I just don't have an issue. It's a soft tissue injury risk type of deal. And here's my deal. We always applaud Ed Ogeron over Les Miles. Why? Because he's not as stubborn. Because he's more willing to be forward thinking. He's more willing to look at data and analytics and see what these analytics are saying and then base decisions upon those, right? It's why you hear old players from my teams and the Miles era talk about how we would have like 3-hour padded practices, where by the time we got the national championship, everybody was dead, tired, exhausted. That doesn't happen. Why is LSU off for 5 days right now? Because they've observed the data, the analytics. They see player speed throughout practice throughout the year, and they know if it starts to go down, you got to back off a little bit. And so all they could be practicing right now, Coach O wanted to give them 5 days off before camp begins in earnest so that they could get a little recovery, right? And so if you're going to applaud and cheer that kind of forward thinking in that regard, well, I think you have to do the same thing with the Pelicans. And that's all this is. There is a ton of data that shows that if you just try to dive into the deep end, you become a higher risk for soft tissue injuries. And this is a team that ultimately, long term, the future looks very bright, even if it looks a little dark here in the bubble. And to jeopardize that long-term success with unnecessary risk with Zion for a bubble that essentially is fun but does not really matter for the Pelicans seems like the height of absurdity to me. And I get that it hurts, because it does, because you want to see him play and your number one pick's on the bench, but it just is what it is, right? If I want my coach to be forward-thinking, I want him to be cutting edge. I want him to trust things like data and analytics. Well, that's exactly what they're doing right here. And it doesn't even sound like it's coming from the coach. It honestly sounds like it's coming from the front office. And Aaron Nelson, the trainer that we celebrated when he was hired from the Suns because he was going to change the Pelicans' injury woes. They still dealt a lot of injuries this year, so I guess that remains to be seen. But either way, if you're going to hire a guy, you have to let him do their job. Another thing that we celebrate Coach O for, delegating, empowering his employees, hiring good people, and then letting them make the decisions in their areas of expertise. That's exactly what's going on with Zion. So I don't have an issue with that. What I do have an issue with, Gentry said it wasn't an effort problem against the Clippers. I got to disagree there. I think it was an everything problem against the Clippers. Yeah, you played poorly, you were coached poorly, and you didn't play with good effort. That was a team that looked like they took a couple punches and were ready to lay down on the mat. Now, here's the deal. And last thing I'll say about all the bad before we look forward. Worse than the actual loss in the standings, because as we'll look at, Sunday was actually not bad for you. You're pretty good still. You're not in a bad spot mathematically. But worse than that to me was the reputation loss from this weekend. I'm not looking at the chat right now. I'll look during the commercial break, but I guarantee it is just chock full of people telling me I'm full of it. I was full of it. The Pelicans suck. They always will suck. The Pelicans are doing what they always do. Like, you had 2 games on national TV to establish yourself, to put your best foot forward, not just to your locals, but to the country as a whole. And you had a fourth quarter collapse and got completely demolished like you were on a JV team. And so you had this opportunity to get everybody on board, and unfortunately, you kind of blew it. But that's okay, because the comeback, minor setback, major comeback, begins again tonight, 5:30 against the Grizz. We got Jake Madison at 9:30 coming up to talk about it. Get some football talk next segment, as well as looking at where the Pelicans currently stand in this bubble and what are the chances that they could still make a little noise. We'll talk about it next here on OTB OT, 104.5, 100.3, 94.7 ESPN.
OTB OT. Off the Bench, hanging with Hester and Hanny. After further review and more are all live daily on the 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge YouTube page. Subscribe now to interact with us inside the live chat. Find highlights for each show's channel and get notified whenever we go live.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals, but many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
And an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Service Mastery Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact Service Mastery Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. Service Mastery Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Join us on Monday night for Game Time with Jimmy Ott and Ben Mintz. We're live at Ruffino's on Highland Road as we recap the weekend in sports, including Pelicans versus Clippers. Tune in from 6 to 8 p.m. on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
What up, what up, what up? Welcome back, OTBOT. Jeff Duncan tweeted 2 hours ago that the New Orleans Saints had 0 positive tests in their week of COVID testing on all 80 players, meaning that that bubble in the Lowe's Hotel is in full effect. Nice job by the Saints. That speaks to what has been a theme as of late, which is discipline and personal responsibility. That speaks to those guys going about things the right way. And that's kind of what Sean Payton wanted to do last week when he drew a very clear line in the sand tonally about what he was going to expect this year. That it was like, look, man, they ain't no time for messing around. We got big goals, and this all comes down to discipline and personal responsibility, which when you combine that with like talking to Verge earlier, and him saying that not only about the MLB, but about college football and about the SEC and about these players and accepting that personal responsibility and holding themselves to that discipline, which is very hard. I try to put myself back in those college shoes. I don't know. I don't know what I would honestly do. I mean, do y'all think if you were back in college and this is all going down, would you stay inside?
I mean,
I like to say I would.
yeah, that's the thing.
I like to say I would. And nobody's
but
going
I
to put
don't- I don't
themselves
know.
on blast here, but I think if we're being honest, yeah, you get a couple drinks in you. For Danny, it'd probably be like some girl texting him, like, "Hey, I'm at Club Reg," and then next thing you know, you're at a decision point, and you don't know exactly what to do. So it's going to be fascinating to see. And I don't want to be cynical here. I don't want to be cynical because you know what? After World War II and the invention of nuclear arms, I'm sure that those people who the last 50 years had to witness World War I and World War II, the most horrific wars in human history, I'm sure they thought that once a nuke was made that it was only a matter of time till we blew each other up, that we weren't making it out the decade. And you know what? It still maybe is only a matter of time. But since that moment, we've had 70 years of the Westphalian peace, a major peace between the major nations, no all-out total war anymore, and that didn't look like it was very likely at the time. So maybe kids can avoid going to Reggie's and getting corona. But we'll have to wait and see. Personal responsibility and discipline going to be key in all of this, and the Saints look like they have that. Real quick, on Antonio Brown, the NFL came out today and said that he will serve an 8-game suspension, and that this suspension starts from when he signs with a team. So for him now, goal number one, and that he can do preseason activities. So for him, somebody will sign Antonio Brown. His situation is now cleared up a lot. When he returns, he'll have to miss the first 8 games if you sign him before the year. But the only reason I bring this up is because we talked about potentially pairing him with Lamar Jackson. And the Ravens have a lot to think about here because their quarterback wants him. They have to be, I think, a bit more image conscious given their history with the Ray Rice situation and everything else and the promises that they made in the fallout of the Ray Rice situation. But, hey, if a guy's good enough, it'll make people do crazy things. It'll always tempt him. And so an offense with Lamar Jackson, Antonio Brown, and Marquise Hollywood Brown feels pretty dangerous. Also, can you imagine Antonio Brown getting to go against the Steelers twice a year? You're going to talk about being out for blood. But whatever. I don't really like AB. I just think that that's a potential move that could shift the balance of power in the AFC. So we'll have to wait and see as that situation develops. Now, let's talk about this because last week we asked the poll question, will the Pelicans win the A seed? 90% of the people said yes. This was after the third scrimmage. Life was good. Lonzo felt like an all-star. He's hitting threes. Ingram's hitting threes. No Zion, no problem, right? We were so innocent. We were so fat and cocky on our undefeated preseason record. And it's taken a bit of a turn here recently. So I want to know, we're going to put up again on the poll, will the Pelicans win the A seed? Where they sit today, they actually had a pretty good Sunday. Boston beat Portland. The Spurs beat the Grizzlies. I'm not sure how to feel about that because the Spurs are now kind of worrying me. They're doing like classic Spurs thing despite the fact that they have no LaMarcus Aldridge. Popovich, of course, has gotten them ready, and they've now come out and won 2 in a row. Another maybe red flag, the Jazz got their ass kicked by the Thunder after beating the Pelicans. Maybe, the Pels don't really belong. We'll have to find out. But when you look at the standings right now, the Grizzlies are still in control of the A seed. The Spurs are 2 games behind them. The Blazers are then half a game behind the Spurs, and the Pelicans would be a full game behind Portland. So obviously tonight, the Pelicans have the Grizzlies, and this is a must-win. We said it from the beginning. During this bubble, you needed to split one of the first 2. You needed to then go 5-1, and you needed to beat the Grizzlies guaranteed. Well, you messed up the first thing. You didn't split one of the first 2. So now you're probably looking at having to go 6-0. But mainly, the most important win out of that 6 is going to be tonight against the Grizz. And you still got one left against the Spurs now, too, which is important, given that they are a game and a half up on you. You're going to be able to make up some of that ground. So, yeah, look, mathematically, it doesn't look good. It doesn't look good. I mean, it doesn't look good for any reason because they got their ass kicked. They look terrible on Saturday night, but they're not done yet, okay? You got a little bit of life, and crazier things have happened in sports. So this is the old Lloyd Christmas thing, right? You're telling me there's a chance. There's a chance, big baby. Don't worry. There's a chance. So what I want you to do tonight, get you some whiskey, some tequila, some vodka, whatever your drink of choice is. Maybe you just want a beer. Maybe you just want like a water or a grape juice. I don't know. Turn on that game and just flock in. Okay, just flock in for one more night, and let's see if this team can't reward you a little bit. Because look, they're going to be pissed off. Nobody's more embarrassed than those players. Did you see J.J. Redick's 1,000-yard stare Saturday night as he realized that his entire career, which he has never missed a playoff, so that streak is likely coming to an end? Okay, the players know what's on the line. They're the most embarrassed. They're the ones that are going to be looking for a bounce back. And you know what? To be fair, the Grizzlies, they get it too. The Grizzlies are 0-2 right now against teams with losing records. They lost to both teams with losing records since they've been here. And so both teams are getting a bit desperate, and you're going to watch two desperate teams battle. For what it's worth, I think the Pelicans are better. And I think they win tonight. And I think we keep this train rolling. If they lose, we will officially declare the season over tomorrow. I'll still watch, but we'll kind of back off the hype train a little bit. But this is Custard's final stand here, okay? This is the final draw where I'm going in. I've recovered from Saturday, and I am full optimism. Pelly's going to get that A seed, or at least going to get in the play-in. We'll see that. Coming up next, welcome in Nola Jake of Locked On the Pelicans podcast. Talk about what he took away from Saturday, as well as what Alvin Gentry and David Griffin had to say over the weekend, and what the Pelicans need to be on the lookout for tonight. This is OTBOT on 104.5, 100.3, 94.7 ESPN.
OTB OT. Our listeners fire off their opinions on the jimsfirearms.net hotline at 499-1045. Keep listening for your next chance to shoot us your thoughts with the jimsfirearms.net hotline on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a lifetime.
This isn't just another day. It's so much more. Kelly's life was put on hold when her auctioneer primary care doctor discovered a rare blood disorder. Her doctor connected her to an auctioneer care team of cancer, heart, and kidney specialists. With multiple primary care locations around Baton Rouge, same-day appointments, and online scheduling, we're relentless about keeping you healthy. Auctioneer Baton Rouge, innovating healthcare for Kelly.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers. Offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
I've been doing business with Luba for 25 years. They're dependable, trustworthy. It's just the attention to detail with our clients.
Our folks have years and years of experience. They're highly trained professionals. But many companies have that asset. What I'd like to think makes Luba a bit different is that we use those talents in a way that truly is dedicated to serving the needs of the folks who depend on us.
At All-Star Toyota, you get it all. If you're in the market for an all-new Toyota vehicle, come see our friendly and knowledgeable sales team at All-Star Toyota. Located in Baton Rouge at the corner of Airline and Goodwood, we've been serving our community since 2005 by offering a large selection of new Toyota cars, trucks, and SUVs. Get behind the wheel of your dream car and take a test drive at All-Star Toyota today.
Yo, join us for a Monday edition of Hanging with Hester and Haney, presented by Richards Honda from noon to 3. We'll welcome on ESPN's Laura Rutledge, as well as SiriusXM and SEC Network's Cole Kubelik to break down the latest news in the SEC on 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
My man William Ivey in the huddle. Okay, T-Bob, I'm going to give it one more game. I will watch tonight. I feel like an idiot, but I'm going to have an open mind. Let's go, William. Once more into the fray. And to the last good fight I'll ever know. To live and die on this day. To live and die on this day. Pels Grizzlies, tonight at 5:30. And right now we welcome in Jake Madison, the Locked On Pels podcast, at NOLA Jake on Twitter. Jake, what's going on, man? How you feeling this morning? Have you recovered from Saturday?
Yeah, I think everyone's still maybe a little bit hungover, even if you didn't drink while you watched that game on Saturday. That was a pretty rough game from the Pelicans. One of the worst we've seen, but that's a good Clippers team. We saw that. They took the Lakers basically down to the final possession on their opening night game on Thursday, so maybe it's not a surprise. But this becomes a must-win for New Orleans tonight against the Grizzlies. That is for sure.
Yeah, and look, it was all right. Okay, so how do you feel then? Because I don't want to get into big picture conversations because, yes, none of the math is on the Pelicans side here. But if you are going to do it, you do have to win tonight. So from a matchup standpoint, how do you like this Pels-Grizzlies matchup?
You know, I like the Pels in this one. There's a reason they beat this team by double digits both times they played during the regular season. You're seeing the Memphis Grizzlies kind of go through a lot of the growing pains that New Orleans has gone through this year, except New Orleans is kind of more advanced than that team is. So I think if this becomes a close game down the stretch, I trust New Orleans a slight bit more than the Grizzlies did, who kind of imploded a little bit against the San Antonio Spurs last night. And don't forget, the Memphis Grizzlies are playing on the second night of a back-to-back. We've seen fatigue very much be a thing in the bubble and the NBA's restart so far this year. You heard Drew Holiday, Brandon Ingram mention it after their first two games. I've never heard Drew Holiday mention fatigue before and being tired, so that's clearly got to be a thing. Grizzlies having played last night, the Pelican starters not playing in the fourth quarter 2 nights ago, I mean, they're the more rested team going into this, which I think gives them a slight edge too. And for what the Grizzlies like to do, they play a similar style of ball to New Orleans. And again, that favors New Orleans. Things have been slow so far for the Pelicans throughout these first two games. They've had to play a lot more half-court offense, haven't been able to get out in transition, run in the fast break. They're going to have plenty of opportunities to do that against Memphis tonight. And if they play their style of ball, which they have not played these first two games, I think that creates a favorable situation for them. Ja Morant has been shut down when Drew Holiday's been guarding him throughout those first two games during the regular season. If you kind of eliminate him from this, I don't trust a lot of the other guys on the Memphis Grizzlies. Jaren Jackson Jr. is, about 7 foot tall, but he's more of a two guard than a big. New Orleans should get a pretty decent game from Derek Favors because of that. I think the Pelicans can win this one, and they've shown they're able to do it against this team during the regular season so far.
So you mentioned Derek Favors, and when you look at the starters, those last 17 games before the shutdown, they were great, right? Outscoring opponents 26 per 100 possessions. Well, it's been anything but in these 16 minutes that the starters have played together in the bubble. What has gone so wrong with that frontline group?
I think there's two or three things that really have kind of impacted them. They've got a net rating of negative. I think it's like 58.3 right now. They were positive 26 something in the regular season. So it shows you the fortunes have been wildly reversed here. Part of it is the minutes with Zion. There's no getting around that. Him playing 3 to 6 minute stretches with the starters when they're in longer than that, and then someone steps in, kind of throws them out of their rhythm. And very much so, this is a team that relies on their chemistry on the court that needs to kind of get in that groove. And when it gets mixed up like that, it definitely is kind of a shock to the system and a shock to these other players, and that's causing part of it. A big part of it, I also think, is Lonzo Ball. He's been bad throughout these first 2 games. He was a pretty good three-point shooter throughout the regular season, especially once he got healthy, shooting close to 38%, 39% from deep. Right now, he's not anywhere close to that. He really cannot buy a shot at all right now, and that's creating the Pelicans to basically play 4-on-5 in the half court on offense, which is not how you're going to win games whatsoever. I also think they need to kind of step up on the defensive side of the ball, too. They did not close out on open shooters for the Clippers. That allowed the Clippers to make 25 threes on the 47 that they took. You've got to defend that three-point line and run guys off of that. Derek Favors is a pretty good rim protector. Force guys to go at him and at least take lower percentage shots than those open three-point looks that the Clippers got. And I think that's a really big part of it as well. If you're not going to play good defense like that and they're going to splash a 3 on you, all of a sudden you've got to inbound the ball. That means the defense for the opponent is back and get set. You can't run, you can't play in transition that way, and you're forcing the game to slow down to be a half-court game, which is not where the Pelicans succeed. So getting misses or forcing misses, grabbing defensive boards, it really starts there. And if they're able to do that, New Orleans will kind of see the form overall, both offense and defensively, really round back into form.
I think I know the answer to this, Jake, but I'll ask you. Brent Simino in the huddle asks, will Zion get more minutes if the game is close?
Certainly he will. I think that was kind of the goal against the Clippers. And in the fourth quarter, when you didn't see him play, I think they originally had intended for him to do that, and they just kind of looked at it that in this game, with the way things are going, with kind of backups from both teams in there, it's not going to accomplish what we want to accomplish. And you and I were talking about this on Twitter a little bit yesterday. I think if a close game when the starters are in against Memphis, you will see Zion close this one out. And they need him in there. For all of the talk about his poor defense, and it's not been great throughout these first 2 games, they need a guy who can get a bucket late in games.
Yeah.
This is not something that the Pelicans have been good at all season long. Drew Holiday has not been clutch for this team his entire career here in New Orleans. Brandon Ingram is still growing into that role. You need a guy who just shoots a high percentage that you can get a look at the rim from, and that's Zion. In that game against the Utah Jazz, they put up 17 points in the fourth quarter. They lost by 2. You could really use a guy who is just basically a walking 2-point bucket in Zion Williamson. So if the game's close, I expect him to be out there, and that's a situation where the Memphis Grizzlies struggle as well. So it may not be the prettiest basketball out there on the court, but if it's a close game and he's got Zion in there, I like how the Pelicans might look.
Yeah, I mean, look, Ingram has the mentality to be the late game finisher. Like, he's not scared to take those shots. He just has not made them all year long. If you look at the numbers, Jake. To me, though, looking at the numbers, it's almost just like football in a way, right? Turnovers. When you limit the turnovers, this Pelicans team can look borderline unstoppable, like they did in those scrimmages where everything was so smooth and flowing and such pretty offensive basketball. And then to go from that to what you witnessed these first 2 games, 21 turnovers, 18 turnovers, it's been jarring. It feels really bad to watch basketball that's sloppy. What's been the root of the evil? Like, what's been the cause of these turnovers? And do you think they can correct them?
Yeah, it's not been good. 39 turnovers through 2 games is a great way to lose. And against the Clippers, where they had 18, that led to 34 opponent points off turnovers for the Clippers. So they were capitalizing on these Pelicans' mistakes. And they are mistakes. This is not these opponents, the Jazz or the Clippers, forcing the Pelicans into these turnovers. It's the Pelicans with unforced errors, and they're just being sloppy and careless with the ball. And when you look at this, and you asked me just now, what's going on with this? I got no idea, because they're just throwing passes out of bounds to people that aren't there.
Yeah.
This is not an easy thing to diagnose when it's just, you kind of look at them and go, what are you doing? There's no player there. Why are you throwing the ball there? Part of that might be Zion in and out of the lineup a little bit and guys not in their normal roles, being in the normal spots, but I don't really think that's it. I think it's just being sloppy with the basketball, careless with the basketball, not valuing the rock, and it's leading to losses right now for New Orleans. So they need to play up to a higher standard and kind of look at what they did before where they weren't turning the ball over, and that's driving with some aggression, knowing where the dump-off pass is going to be. You need guys moving off ball to provide outlets for it so that guys don't get trapped at the rim and then just try and throw the ball to someone else so that at least they don't turn it over down low, which then just leads to the pass going out of bounds. It's not good. They need to absolutely cut down on those, ideally by half. But if they could keep it to 13, 14 turnovers, I think you could live with it. But you're just gifting the opponents easy points this way, particularly with some of those ones down low. They're live ball turnovers, which are brutal because the team's able to then run and get a fast break and score against you that way. And that's not at all what the Pelicans defense is set to withstand. So that's really been their Achilles heel during all of this. Less so Zion, and more so just due to turning the ball over and getting empty possessions offensively.
Jake, when you look at the race for the A seed, we're talking to Jake Madison at Nola Jake. Catch him on the Locked On Pels podcast. Grizzlies, Spurs, Blazers, Pels, Kings, Suns. Everybody's still there. We're now watching play a weekend worth of basketball. Are you a little sketched out by the Spurs? Like who got bumped up in your mind, and maybe who dropped after weekend number one?
Overall, it was probably a pretty good weekend for the Pelicans, all things considered. Sunday, was a pretty decent day with the Memphis Grizzlies losing to the Spurs. You saw Portland get beat by the Boston Celtics as well. That's exactly what we want. But the Spurs kind of creeping up there is never something you want to see.
I know.
They don't have the talent that any of these other teams fighting for the 8th spot do. They're probably the worst on paper out of all of them, except they've got Greg Popovich. That's a great equalizer. This is arguably the greatest coach we've ever seen in the history of the NBA. He's still got DeMar DeRozan, who is a killer. When you look at that game last night against the Memphis Grizzlies didn't have someone who could get his own shot at the end of a game. They got a lucky three that tied the game. And then you saw DeMar DeRozan calmly take the ball down court, pump fake, get a guy off balance who then jumped into him and drew 2 free throws, which is what won the game for him. Having a veteran guy like that, even if he takes a lot of long mid-range jumpers that DeRozan does, he's going to take you pretty far in a weird situation like this, and he got him the win last night. I still think they're not nearly as talented as other teams, and their schedule is about to get significantly harder than these first 2 games have shown. So I think that's going to hurt them a little bit, and they ultimately fade. You saw the Kings get absolutely run out of the gym last night, too. That was a very good thing to see because that was a team that was playing their best basketball when the NBA was suspended, so they could have been a threat to all of this. I think Phoenix, even with the win over the Dallas Mavericks last night, are a little too far out of it mathematically to really make a run at this. So overall, things look okay for New Orleans still. They have the easiest schedule coming up. They just played their 2 toughest games. So as long as they win tonight, I'm not ready to rule them out just yet, even if the numbers don't look to be in their favor with all of this. But keep an eye on the Spurs. Popovich can take you pretty far. DeMar DeRozan is a scorer. That's going to work in this sort of situation where we haven't seen the best defense from a lot of these teams. So they're a team that's worth keeping an eye on. So that game that these 2 teams play could really kind of be that game that gets you into the play-in.
So you mentioned Popovich, and then I guess the natural extension of that, then you look at your own team, and Pelicans fans have been asking a lot of questions about Alvin Gentry. Now, a bit of this, whatever, like that's just constant in the Alvin Gentry era. It's been every loss, fire him, et cetera, et cetera. David Griffin's really supported Gentry. Does anything that happens in this bubble have an impact on Alvin Gentry's future with this team?
No, I don't think so. And you've heard David Griffin say this in his media availability, too, when the team first arrived there and even before we kind of figured out exactly what was going to go on with the NBA, that, I think they want to get some meaningful minutes out of guys and kind of evaluate things a little bit more here. But I don't think they're going to rush to judgment or make a different judgment based on just 8 games in the weirdest situation for professional sports that we've probably ever seen. There's guys who get hot during this and might get overpaid, and I think the Pelicans want to avoid being the team that overpays them. Look what happened with the team of Solomon Hill from a couple of years ago. The guy had about 7 good games at the end of the season and in the playoffs, and the Pelicans gave him close to $50 million, and that did not work out even remotely. I think they'd like to avoid a situation like that. So I don't think they're going to make any sweeping judgments about what happens, playoffs or not. The determination on Alvin Gentry, whether that's he stays, he doesn't stay, or he moves into a front office role potentially, likely has already been made, and some of it might also hinge on him. He's in his 60s. He's one of the older coaches in the league. And when you see him kind of out there addressing the media after Zion's minutes, where it doesn't seem like he has a ton of control over, how long does he necessarily want to keep doing that for, kind of being thrown in front of a firing squad like that? So I wonder if this may also come down to him, but I don't think there's going to be any sweeping big decisions made based off of, or only based off what we've seen in the bubble.
Jake Madison at NOLA Jake on Twitter. Catch him on the Locked On Pels podcast. Jake, thank you so much, man.
Of course. Thanks for having me on, T-Bob.
Yes, sir. Pelicans, Grizzlies tonight, 5:30. Flock in and flock up. Let's go, people. One more time. Do this dance with me one more time. And then you can make fun of me all you want. Musso, you keep shaking your head back there. Your Red Sox got swept by the Yankees this weekend. You're pathetic.
Yeah, I also expected that, so I wasn't even mad.
That's fair. That's fair. The age-old adage. It's just about how your relations or how your expectations relate to the results. So that's why Saturday hurt so bad. I had way higher expectations. But you know what? I'm back up tonight. All right, we'll close out the show next. You're on OTBOT.
OTB OT. In times of need, get a full list of phone numbers, websites, and other important emergency information on the Demco Stormwatch page at 1045ESPN.com.
Gulf Coast Office Products is a nationally recognized Savin office equipment dealer based right here in Louisiana. Over 100 employees strong, Gulf Coast has the boots on the ground to support all vertical markets, from education, engineering, legal, and finance. With the latest in office technology, from desktop to production segment units, Gulf Coast and Savin have the perfect fit for you. Call 225-756-2644. That's 756-2644 for Gulf Coast Office Products.
To all of our heroes working on the front lines of this COVID-19 pandemic, your bravery and selflessness represent the very best of us, and we want to say thank you. I'm asking everyone around the state to join me in celebrating the heroism of our healthcare professionals on the 19th of every month at 1900 hours, that's 7 p.m. Write a note of appreciation, make plans to donate to charitable organizations, or say a prayer. To learn more, visit 19thanks.org. Thank you, and God bless.
If I built a van, it would do more than haul.
It would carry my entire business. I'd make it available in dozens, if not thousands of configurations.
It would keep an eye on my fleet.
Get an eye out for danger. If I built a van, I'd make it available in diesel and gas. And I'd build it right here in South Carolina.
Introducing the all-new Sprinter, starting at $33,790. Built in the USA. Mercedes-Benz. Vans. Born to run.
Are you a licensed contractor? There's lots of good contractors in Louisiana doing work the right way, but unfortunately, too many unlicensed contractors are working outside the licensing requirements. Working as a contractor in Louisiana requires a license for the company doing the work. The Louisiana State Licensing Board for Contractors wants to help you get licensed to allow you to conduct work legally. It's not difficult to get the license. We can help you. Go to lacontractor.org for more information. Licensed contractors, it's the law.
This is a house call. This is a follow-up appointment. This is a diabetes checkup. This isn't just more convenient care, it's more advanced care. This is innovating healthcare at Louisiana's #1 hospital, Ochsner.
ServiceMaster Elite create clean, disinfected work environments. As a local business, we take pride in serving the New Orleans and Baton Rouge areas. Our cleaning protocols follow CDC and OSHA standards for healthcare settings, offices, senior living, restaurants, and industrial plants. Contact ServiceMaster Elite to get your operation ready for reopening with germ disinfection cleaning. ServiceMaster Elite, the trusted choice in professional cleaning since 1996.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust is a local bank with a straightforward philosophy.
It's about doing the right thing for our customers.
Participating in our community with annual local fundraisers, offering individual attention in a modern banking atmosphere with a trusted local company. Gulf Coast Bank invested in technology with a local touch, giving our customers the power to bank anywhere, anytime.
We're building relationships through personal service as the bank that cares about you.
Gulf Coast Bank and Trust, the bank that cares about you.
Crime has serious consequences, but anyone can make a mistake. If you find yourself in trouble with the law, know that you have rights, and it's okay to demand them. The law offices of O.C. Brown are here to protect you and your rights. Felony or misdemeanor, DUI or drug charge. No matter what crime you're accused of, you still have rights. Let the law offices of O.C. Brown uphold them. Call 225-343-1111. Your law firm for a...
Hey, it's Matt Moscona inviting you to join us for Monday's AFR. Presented by Relief Windows, the Saints Open Training Camp. All the storylines, we'll have them for you on Monday's AFR. Join us 3 to 6, 104.5 ESPN Baton Rouge.
OTB OT with T-Bob Hebert, ESPN Baton Rouge, New Orleans, Alexandria.
What's going on, yo? Welcome back. OTBOT closing out this Monday show. Woo! Was not feeling it when I got in this morning. But, hey, we made it, boys. We are here at the end. Just read that the Bella twins had their babies one day apart from each other. I got a lot of questions about how you planned that originally. Do you just call each other up 9 months before and say, hey, tonight's the night? So just grip his cheeks and just don't let go. In other news over the weekend, Giannis Cespedes, we've been teasing this story all day. I guess we never really got to break it down. This is one of the funniest sports stories I've heard in a while. Y'all know that gif of the kid who throws up the deuces and then just disappears into the air? It's essentially what that's what Cespedes did to the Mets. And it's really funny because if you look, remember, he hit that solo shot game one against the Braves to win in that pitcher's duel. It was the only run of the game. And after the game, he tweeted like, it's just the start of great things, like LFGM, it's on, it's going to be a great year. And here we sit a week later, and Giannis just threw up the deuces. And when I say peaced out, I mean, let's be clear. So it's official. He's opting out of the season. But how he went about it is where the funny part is. So, like, the Mets are going to a game, and Cespedes is nowhere to be found. And they send security to his room, and, like, all of his stuff is gone. Like an old, like, 80s or 90s dad out of a movie, just gone in the night. I mean, just an empty room. They're wondering what's going on. They can't get in touch with him. Finally, after the game, Cespedes' agent gets in touch with the Mets and tells him that he's gone, that he is opting out. The best part is how much of this was just super frustrated reaction in that the game that before he opted out, he went 0-4 and struck out twice.
Yeah, well, I mean.
He's just like, dude.
They say there's always tomorrow, but I guess you and Cespedes thought. It reminded me of the guy who retired at halftime for the Bills.
Which I had forgotten about.
I mean, that's exactly what it reminds. That's the first thing I thought of. I was like, he basically just retired at halftime.
I mean, you want to talk about reaching a breaking point.
Yeah.
You're like at halftime, knowing you got to go back out there. You're sweating. You're getting your ass. You're like, I'm done,
I'm
dude.
just going to quit. It's fine.
I'm going to shower. I'm going to go change. I'm just going to go home and see my kids, and I'm never going to come back here again. The funniest part is when you look at Cespedes' time with the Mets as a whole, it sounds like it was just pretty garbage all around. He's been hurt for 2 years. Well, they had the really good first year, right?
Yeah.
I think. And then he was hurt for 2 years. And then there's even some interesting details about that. He had surgery on both heels and his ankle. Do you know why he had surgery on both heels and his ankle?
Not off the top of my head. I do not remember.
He had a run-in with a wild boar. What? Cespedes, what? Like, what are these stories surrounding Cespedes? I don't know what the details of the run-in were, but I guess he was boar hunting or doing something. He had a run-in with a boar. He later had 2 heel surgeries, ankle surgery. He missed all last year. He comes back this year. He hits a home run. He's all in. LFGM. And now he's peace. I'm out. So shout out to you, Cespedes. Hey, talk about knowing yourself. It's confident. It takes a confident man to just walk away from all that. All right. That is it for today's OTBOT. Thank you to Danny. Thank you to Matthew, the best producers in the game. Thank you to you, the listeners. If you like the show, continue to share it. Coming up tomorrow, we got Coach O, OTB mailbag, a lot of fun stuff, and we'll see if the Pelicans are still alive. OTBOT. See you then.
OTB OT.
This isn't just another